Straight goal, 6 points, leading Melbourne 2 points. Back to Waverley.
Ball back into centre. Neither ruckman really got a knockout taken by Zilla. Kicks the ball back to half forward. Everett's in front, and he takes the mark. So Everett's 55 metres out. Lowe offers the lead. Beg your pardon, it's not Lowe. It's Joel Smith. He's in front of Wanganeen. Now Joel Smith, who is caught high. Umpire says that's a free kick.
And Wanganeen's down. He looks like he's hurt his ankle.
Looks like he landed heavily on his ankle, but he's up straight away and looks okay, which is great news for Bombers fans. So Joel Smith, he's got the kicks almost directly in front. He'll be kicking from about 48 metres out. Beautiful dry day here at Waverley Park. Conditions perfect. Smith kicks the ball. It's going to just go through, I think. The goal umpire's fallen over. Now the field umpire's gone up and they're having a bit of a conversation. The umpire says he was unsighted.
Gee.
Now that was from here it looked like a goal, but because the goal umpire is unsighted, the umpire thinks, what's he going to do, ball it up?
Look, the field umpire should adjudicate in this situation and say the goal umpire was a clear goal.
Well, he should consult with the boundary umpire, surely.
Well, that's what
Stewie
Lowe is saying. Stewie Lowe is saying, why don't you ask the boundary umpire who was next to the point post? The goal umpire actually fell over and he was kneeling down. And, well, if he didn't see the score, what else can he say?
Anyway, it's been balled up into goal square. Controversial decision by the umpires. And Essendon are going to clear as the St Kilda fans are booing loudly. The ball's kicked out tough by for Essendon. Members side for a throw-in.
Just having a look at this St Kilda box, Stan Elves is absolutely amazed and devastated.
Well, I just
Well, it looked a goal from here, didn't it?
Oh, it was a clear goal. There's no doubt about that. And much more, the umpire was aware of it. So he should have overruled any decision.
Some of them got the knockdown. It's picked up by Burke. He has a pot shot at goal, but it's offline for one behind. So on the minor 10 scoreboard, it's St Kilda 1-2-8. Essendon one straight goal. We've gone 11 and a half.
A bit of common sense and a bit of initiative by the officials, and that should have been just cleared up straight away. It's disgraceful.
So Darcy decides to kick the ball to the outer side, looking for Long. He's against Burke. Neither can take the mark. Now Long paddles the ball in front of him. He's now tackled by Burke. Great tackle by Nathan Burke. Ball still in the middle of the Waverley Park. Picked up by Zilla again. Thumps the ball back to within 50. Stewie Lowe almost took the mark. Umpire called play on. Everett's in there for St Kilda. So is Lowe still battling hard. Now he feeds out the handball to Brown. He's tackled by Grenvold. Coming through as Harvey overruns the ball for St Kilda. Picked up again by Grenvold. Kicks it back to the outer wing, and the mark is taken by Nathan Burke. He chips the ball inboard to Sirakoski.
What a duel that'll be. Nathan Burke against Michael Long. Sirakoski has a lazy bounce, runs to 60. Long bomb back to the square. Up goes Everett and takes the mark. The long arms of Spider just plucked it out of the arms of Peter Somerville, and he has marked 10 metres out directly in front. Here's kicker.
Well, I made the comment earlier, sure. He's a wonderful foil for Stewie Lowe. And when you've got two tools that are extremely proficient in the aerial drills, it puts the opposition defence under enormous pressure.
Look, I think this bloke's come good ever since we interviewed him in the Magic Box.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, just after that, he had a great game against Sydney, and it does look like he's maturing all the time. And I reckon it's a good point kicker with Stewie Lowe down there, about 6'5", and Peter Everett about 6'6". Gives a good attack. Here's the count.
And KB, I just must mention Stephen Zilla again in the midfield. He's had 6 possessions at this stage, and 5 1%ers laying tackles on, knocking the ball on.
Minor 10 scoreboard. St Kilda 2-2-14. Essendon 1 straight goal 6. So umpire David Howlett puts the ball down. First possession out of the square, very important. This time Cockatoo Collins gets it across the Grenvold. So the Bombers go into attack. They just kick the ball long into the forward line. Wild kick off the ground, and a free kick's being played here, and it's going to Christian Bardsley. So he's got St Kilda players breaking towards the members' flank, and he finds Robert Harvey. How can he get by himself? So Harvey's off and running. He's got the ability to get around Denham, then comes back, handballs over to Justin Peckett down from the back pocket. So Peckett, the centre wing, goes short. Stewie Lowe's on the lead. Up early, just couldn't hang on to the Sharon at ground level. Ball gets tipped back. Chance now for, let's see, Calthorpe just shrugs the shoulders hard up on the boundary line, goes short and finds Denham. Denham wants to play on quickly. He's on defensive 50, goes short and finds across Hardwick. Now they're transferring the play from the member side towards the outer side of the ground. He kicks a long bomb, and running on the ball is Mercurian, takes the mark.
So Mercury on the outer wing for Essendon. Goes short to half forward. Mark Harvey's off with the lead. The kick's poor. Harvey can't get on the half volley. He's being pursued by Dean Anderson. Now picked up again by Mercury. Twists and turns. Now on the right boot. Kicks the ball back to 50. Danaher in front. Almost could have been paid the free kick. Frawley dishes the handball to Darryl Wakeland. Now Wakeland goes short and hits Shanahan on the chest. Half back line out of sight. Saints out of trouble. Shanahan kicks the ball back to the wing. It's a good kick and finds Nicky Winmar. Great matchups, as we've said on numerous occasions already. Winmar, Cockatoo Collins on the mark. He's on the outer wing. Saints lead 2-2-14. Essendon one straight goal. We've got almost 15 minutes. Winmar back to half forward. In front as O'Brien couldn't take the mark and pulls one over the line for a throw in.
Sure, it was always important that St Kilda got off to a very, very good start against Essendon. I think Essendon have really got their problems here today.
Well, they got beaten by 116 points last game, so they had to be very good at the opening, like you said. But I think Essendon missing Steve Alessio up forward, that extra height there.
Cockatoo Collins shows great acceleration, has 3 bounces, now runs to the outer wing, a couple of big shepherds off the ball. Zilla was the target, but they both missed him, and the mark's taken at half forward for Essendon by Cummings. So we know Cummings can kick a goal, hasn't had many opportunities at full forward. Today could be his big day. Paul Salmon spoke to him last night, and he tells me that he'll be available next week for selection, which is a great comeback, only a couple of weeks out after what appeared to be a broken ankle. So Cummings.
There's a set play by Essendon here, quarters, where they all bunch it just outside the 10-metre square.
So Cummings for about 60 metres out. Drives the ball long. It's a good-looking kick. It's hit the post. It's a beautiful shot, apart from the 60 metres out. So, on the Mitre 10 scoreboard, St Kilda 2-2-14, Essendon 1-1-7. Let's go round the grounds. Ricky Nixon at off the zone.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. It's a pretty exciting first quarter here. Carey's lining up for goal right in front of the Carlton Social Club, and as you can imagine, he's getting a fair res. Carlton lead by 13 points, 3-2-20 to North Melbourne, 1-1-7. As Carey comes in and his kicks offline through for a behind, so Carlton lead by 12 points. Matty Rendell at the Western Oval.
15-minute mark here, Ricky, into the first quarter. Geelong lead 1-4-10 by 9 points. Fitzroy 1 solitary point. Here's Barry at the MCG.
Thanks, Matty. Just on 17 minutes into the first quarter on its West Coast. 2 straight goals, 12 points, leading Melbourne 1-2-8. Back to Waverley.
Well, James Hurd has taken the mark and plays on quickly, and he's got a loose Essendon player in Ben Doolan, who has marked. He'll be kicking from 45 metres out down towards the main scoreboard, and St Kilda lead 2-2-14, Essendon 1-1-7. That's on the Mitre 10 scoreboard. Great to see Frank Whelan here today from Mitre 10. Just down in front of the commentary box, and I can see Kate Callery down there, and Ben Callery's also down there. As we see the kick from Doolan is on its way off target and through for 1 point. Well, we think that's Ben Callery. It might be the Count himself. He's a little bit taller than his father. 2-2-14, Essendon 1-2-8. We've played 17.5 minutes into this opening term. Here's Kecker.
Well, he'd already established that height advantage after his second birthday, KB.
So Justin Peckett to bring the ball back into play. Kicks the ball out towards Keogh, takes a strong mark in front of Doolan. So Keogh, already a winner of the Nomad Telecommunications mobile phone this year, and Sierakowski on the second grab takes a mark. Still on the half-back flank member side. Much improved player, David Sierakowski.
Took the very words out of my mouth, Kevin.
And St Kilda using the ball very well. Their skill level has certainly improved. Peckett gets it across to Winmar, who's been a damaging player count in this opening term so far. And look at Big Everett goes up and marks in front of Fletcher. Now he plays on, he puts it out in front. Chance for Stewie Lowe, up goes the bucket hand. Unable to take it at the back of the pack. Wanganine's been thrown to the ground, picked up by Joel Smith. Spins and turns, comes back, wild kick into the forward pocket. The ball hits the boundary line, and it's been given out of bounds on the full in the forward pocket for St Kilda. Did it actually hit the line and come back?
I saw it was on the full.
Well, he took a while for him to adjudicate. I thought he let it go a little bit longer, sure.
I think he did that after the goal umpire signalled that it was out in the full.
So Telthorpe tries to take it on the half volley. The kick was a poor one towards Grenfold. Over the top is Zilla. Great play. Oh, wonderful play by Sean Denham. Chipped in and just pitches the ball away from Robert Harvey. Unfortunately for Essendon, looks like it came off the knee of Somerville, but it's been deemed above the knee, not below. And look at Somerville. He thinks it's out of bounds on the full.
He's conceded already.
He can't believe it.
He had to.
No, I think that came off his knee. I think that was
Above
a
his
good
knee,
decision.
just above his knee.
But Somerville thought it was a free kick. But he goes up, grabs the ball out of the ruck, gives it across to O'Donnell, still on the half-back flank, hugs the boundary line on the members' side. Looking for out here Mercury, but the ball goes over the line on the full. And look at the St. Kilda supporters. They say that last you've got it right. Harvey takes the mark, looks like he wants to feed the ball off, comes back onto the right boot, doesn't know where to go. Touches the ball on the ground. That shocking play by Robert Harvey. Silly play. Great play by Denham. Gives it to Mercury. The Saints might pay for this. Mercury kicks the ball back towards centre-half forward. Danaher running with the flight of the ball. Bardsley's there. Gets the ball back here towards Shanahan. Can he take control? Danaher, terrific play. On hands and knees. Gets it back to Cummings. Back to Hurd. Bang. He's been sandwiched, but he does well. Rockets the ball back to Cummings. 50 metres out. It's a long snapshot. He's off target and through for 1 point. Let's go back around the grounds. Here's Ricky Nixon.
Yes, KB, Carlton are on fire here. They kicked 5 goals, 2-32, leading North Melbourne 1-9. Williams and Rice have kicked 2 each in this first quarter, and North Melbourne just aren't in the game. Matty Rendell at the Western Oval.
Nearly at the 20-minute mark here, Ricky. Geelong lead by 3 points, 1-4-10 to Fitzroy 1-1-7. Here's Barry at the MCG.
Thanks, Matty. 20 and a half minutes gone, and it's West Coast looking good. 4 goals straight to Melbourne, 1-2-8. Back to Waverley.
Nicky Winmar's taken the mark at half-back from that kick out. Now goes to the outer wing. Scoreboard here. St.Kilda 2-2-14. Essendon 1-3-9. Now the Saints into attack again. It's a long kick. It's into the goal square. Darcy's there for Essendon. And in the end concedes a behind. So on the Vita 10 scoreboard, St.Kilda move on to 2 goals, 3-15. Essendon are 1-3-9. We've gone almost 21 minutes.
Count what's been happening on paper.
Well, Denham's playing very well for the bottom Bombers with 5 possessions and 2 marks. Nicky Winmar's had 6 kicks and a couple of marks as well, KB.
So Darcy to bring the ball back into play for Essendon. Goes short and finds Michael Long. It's about a 20-metre kick. So Michael Long still in the defensive 50 for Essendon. Kicks the ball right up the middle of the ground, looking for Hurd. He has fisted away by Shanahan. At the ball is Ozzie Jones, has come on for Smith. He couldn't grab possession. Also working hard there is Shanahan again, now picked up by Wanganeen. Good play at the bottom of the pack by Hurd. Now Wanganeen kicks the ball back to half forward, outer side. Harvey, the big fly. Shark at the back of the pack by Danaher. Kicks the ball. It's a 4 kick to the leading Cummings. Now coming in is Mercury. Beats 1 tackle, but now good tackle by Anderson. He dispossesses him, picked up by Peckett. Peckett to Keogh. The ball goes through his legs. Now Mercury again. Great perseverance, has a shot at goal. Just offline and through for 1 behind. St Kilda 2-3-15, Essendon 1-4-10. We've got almost 22 minutes in the first quarter.
Steve Quartermain, Mark Mercury's very busy with 7 possessions and 2 marks. Also Gary O'Donnell across the half-back line with 6 touches at this stage.
So the Saints bring the ball back into play. They go to the members' side, half-back line, and the mark's taken by Keogh. So Keogh will kick the ball back to the members' wing.
And his high flyer out here is Wakeling. Got up high. That was Shane. Couldn't take it over Somerville. Winmar appeals for the free kick and he gets it. Holding the ball against Ben Doolan. So the free kick's going to St Kilda and Robert Harvey on the half-back flank. Members' side. The Saints are kicking down towards the Wellington Road end. Any breeze out there, Count?
Certainly about 1 goal at maximum, KB. Very slight.
And he kicks it up where Everett comes out, takes the mark, looking very, very dangerous on top of Fletcher early in the game. That's a beautiful kick. Wonderfully weighted. Hits Craig O'Brien on the chest, who now his target. It's into low territory. He's got the height advantage and he's too big, too tall, too strong for Tim Darcy, and takes the mark 35 metres out. No angle to speak of.
I'll tell you what, there's a couple of enthralling duels, and none more so than Long and Nathan Burkhout when they have the respective statistics on those guys. And Sierakowski's role in nullifying Somerville's height has really been a factor in St Kilda as well.
Well, Sam, Michael Long's had 3 possessions and 1 mark. Burkey's had 5 kicks, 2 marks, certainly doing very well.
And just one thing, Nicky Winmar's had 3 opponents. He's had Chris Danaher, Cockatoo Collins, and now he's got Ben Doolan on the wing.
So Stewie Lowe from point-blank range pops through his 2nd goal of the match and St Kilda's 3rd. So they move on the Vita 10 scoreboard. 3-3-21, Essendon 1-4-10. And let me just ask you this, Shorey, and also Kecker. Fletcher's not playing well. He's not in really good form at the moment. That's why they didn't play him on rocker last week against Collingwood. Everett's doing very well. You can see that Chetty might have to move someone like Cummings down to the back line because Stewie Lowe looks far too big, and so does Everett.
Well, you'd hope it'd be Cummings and not James Hird. He does move James Hird down to defence in a few times, and they just won't kick enough goals if they move him.
So from the centre bounce, we see Long paddles the ball out, still can't quite take control, picked up by Harvey, but a free kick goes back to Michael Long. Smack bang in the centre of the ground out at Waverley, goes onto the left boot, plays on quickly, Winmar, brilliant, just chips in front of Ryan O'Connor, then brings the ball away, kicks it in front. The skill level of St Kilda has gone up about 300%. From early in the season, there's been a complete change come over this club as we see St Kilda through ground, kicks down, and up goes Everett once more. So he's in the running for the Nomad Telecommunications phone, and beautiful pass. The Mo comes out and takes it.
They're on fire.
What do they have for breakfast?
But the skill level has been great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It's gone up 50% since those early days, and Essendon's lack of height in defence is starting to really tell.
Oh, yeah, and the count, you mentioned Sean Dennon's play well. Well, he's got the job on Robert Harvey, and Robert Harvey's had a heap of the ball with Nicky Winmar.
Isn't he amazing the way he twists and turns on a 5-cent piece?
Well, he doesn't move out of the spot, and everybody thinks he's going to move, but he's an amazing man. His body strength is fantastic, Robert Harvey.
So Stewie Lowe's going for goal number 3. He's 45 metres out, directly in front. The kick's off target. In fact, it's just going to scrape through for 1 point.
2 steps, KB.
5-10 scoreboard, 3-4-22. That's St Kilda, Essendon, 1-4-10. Here's Ricky Nixon. Carlton's on fire.
Thanks, KB. Well, Carlton are on fire here, and Greg Williams, well, I can tell you why he's won 2 Brownlow medals, because he kicked 3 goals in the opening quarter, and Carlton are 6-4. 40, Sam Kekovich, North Melbourne 1-2-8, Matty Rendell at the Western Oval.
Thank you, Ricky. And we're at the 25-minute mark of the first quarter. Geelong lead by 4 points, 2-6-18, Fitzroy 2-2-14. Here's Barry at the MCG.
Thanks, Matty. 26 minutes gone, and West Coast looking good. 5-2-32, Melbourne 1-3-9. Back to Waverley.
Marks taken by Danaher, out of side, half-forward line, kicks the ball back to within 50. Mercury, who's been a very busy player, takes a courageous mark about 45 metres out on a slight angle.
There's the count, Steve. You've picked it well. He's had 7 kicks at this stage and 3 marks.
So Mercury, kicking from, I guess, about 45 metres out. As I said, the angle's slight.
And of course, Herd's been well contained. Shanahan, who's been a terrific and underestimated player, Shanahan.
So Mercury kicks on its way, and it is a perfect drop punt. It's a good steadying goal for the Bombers. They needed enough once. St Kilda on the minor 10 scoreboard, 3-4-22, Essendon 2-4-16. We've got almost 27 minutes in this first quarter of Waverley Park.
And Sam, one person I think we have forgot who can go back and play at centre half back, even on taller opponents, Mark Harvey, who's done it a lot of occasions, and he might be the first choice down there.
Yeah, he compensates for his lack of inches by reading the game and placing himself accordingly. Yeah, good point, Shorey. But St Kilda, they're only a goal in front, but they've been the dominant side, haven't they? And they haven't translated that dominance on the scoreboard. They may well rue that.
Well, it's interesting that Fletcher, of course, now is up on the forward line.
Ryan
for
O'Connor on
Essendon.
Everett.
So Ryan O'Connor has been given the job now on Peter Everett. Here's Stephen Quartermain on Magic 693.
Ball picked up by Burke in the centre for St Kilda, pumps it back to within 50. Leading the race to the ball is Lowe against Darcy. Good little handball by Lona Wazzy Joe. Keeps it in play. Now kicks a high ball about 30 metres out from goal. Wakeland couldn't take the mark. Everett taps it over his head. Fisted away by Long. That was clever play by the Aboriginal star. Goes to Denham. Denham handballs over the top to O'Connor. He kicks the ball back to half-forward. It's a thumping drop punt. Hurd, great skills. Now handballs back to Fletcher. Fletcher 65 out, kicks the ball back within 50, looking for Cummings. He can't take the mark, but recovers well. Now he overruns it. Cummings and then support Harvey. Great skill. That's Robert Harvey for St Kilda. Handballs over the top to Winmar. Has 2 bounces. Runs towards the outer wing. Kicks the ball back, and the mark's taken by Wakeland, still in the wing area for St Kilda, out of side. Wakeland now plays on, and the siren sounds up to Shane Wakeland. As the siren sounds here at quarter time. Very entertaining first quarter at Waverley Park.
St Kilda, and just briefly, their ability to get the ball out of the centre, the Winmars we spoke of, you heard the count, and they've got a couple of potent weapons up forward in Lowe and Everett.
Oh, look, that was the difference. I think they dominated out of the centre square. Essendon at the moment, they're really struggling to get the ball through Hurd. He's been kept quiet by Shanahan. Harvey hasn't touched much of the ball. they've had to push Fletcher forward, and O'Connor never got it either. He's gone the centre half back, but gee, they're struggling at the moment, missing Alessio, but St Kilda's dominance out of the centre's been the main thing.
So we've got the start of the second term. 3-4-22 St Kilda, Essendon 2-4-16. So 6 points in it. We see Long inside that centre square. Look at Nathan Burke just burrows in over the top. Fantastic duel between those two great players today. In fact, both of them won Nomad Telecommunications mobile phones this year as BOGs. So the ball smack bang in the centre of the ground. Peter Somerville in the ruck. Give that one to Somerville at ground level, trying to take the ball away, but once more there's a big pack of players. We've got Nicky Winmar on the bottom of the pack, holding his head, lifted up to the ground there by the scruff of the neck by his teammate in David Sirikoski. So once more, umpire Matthew Norton to bounce. This time, give that one to Sirikoski from behind, picked up by Harvey, just weaves his way out, just wriggles his way out like a worm, then kicks the ball out towards the wing. Fantastic play for the Bombers, because coming through was Ben Dool, slips over that critical moment, gives the ball back to O'Donnell, kicks the ball short, it's been marked by Sean Denham. 75 metres out, centres the ball, out comes Cummings. Wonderful play, Sean Denham. And Scott Cummings has marked 45 metres out directly in front.
Well, KB, just then we saw Robert Harvey, we were talking about it at the quarter-time break. He just chips the ball and tries to run again, I think, to get another possession instead of... They've got Everett centre-half forward. Let's use his height and get the ball up to him quick.
Well, he's not a penetrating kick, there's no doubt about that. And in fact, there has been some school of thought that he has tried to kick longer over the last 6 or 7 weeks of the season. But he's had a lot of hamstring problems, but great play by Denham. So Scott Cummings, who's kicked 1 goal in that first quarter, lining up from 45 metres out, so the distance won't be a concern. Cummings is a thumping kick. The distance goes right to the back of the crowd, but he's off target and through for a minor score. So the Saints 3-4-22-17 lead Essendon 2-5-17. Here's Ricky Nixon at Optus Oval.
It just started again here, KB. No addition to the quarter-time score. Carlton are 6-5-41, leading North Melbourne 1-3-9. Andy Rendell at the Western Oval.
Thanks, Ricky. We've been going about 5 minutes into the second quarter and still 2 points in favour of Fitzroy. 3-2-20, Geelong 2-6-18, but Johnson's lining up for goal to put them 8 points in front. Here's Barry at the MCG.
Thanks, Matty. 3 minutes gone in the second quarter, and the West Coast still lead by 35 points. 7-2-44 to Melbourne, 1-3-9. Back to Waverley.
And Shea Cockatoo Collins got the free kick half-forward line member's side. He's tried to play on a couple of times, but the umpire says, go over your mark. So Shea Cockatoo Collins has got the ball at half-forward. About 65, 70 metres out from goal. Decides to centre the ball. Couple of leads offered. Cummins goes up one-handed. Picked up by Harvey. Gives the handball to Fletcher. Fletcher concedes some ground. Goes back to Doolan. Doolan goes short. Back to Harvey. Gets it on the half volley. Not sure what to do with it now. Kicks the ball deep into the pocket. Beautiful pass. And the mark's taken by Cockatoo Collins. About 45 metres out from goal. He's trying to con about 10 degrees in angle. Good try. It's worth an effort. But the umpire was wise up to that one and says, come around. So he'd be kicking from a pretty tight angle, about 45 from goal.
You can see the experience and the poise of Harvey in that case then, Sam.
Fantastic and great disposal. A couple of irate supporters here. They felt it dealt a harsh blow.
Cockatoo Collins goes short to Denham, who found some space, too much space. And it's a much better angle, but he's still kicking from about 45 metres out from goal.
Yeah, they really haven't made much inroads into attacking 50. They're still just outside 50, kicking for 50. What did that guy say? I just missed what that guy said.
Well, you better not repeat it on air.
He said he loves you, kicker.
So Denham from 45 on the left boot, drop punt on its way. Not a bad sort of kick. That is a magnificent kick. Made that look very easily. So on the Channel 9 scoreboard, the Bombers right back now. In fact, they're in front. 3-5-23, St Kilda 3-4-22. We've gone 4 minutes in the second quarter.
And that's just the amazing thing, isn't it, Shorey? We spoke about St Kilda's dominance in that first term and yet failed to render that dominance on the scoreboard. And here they are, Essendon, whilst they've struggled, but they now find themselves in front of the scoreboard.
Well, I think we're nearly at the 5 or 4.5 minute mark, and I don't think St Kilda's had it in their forward 50 in this quarter. So it looks like Essendon have just gone on top midfield. A couple of bad mistakes from St Kilda midfielders, and they've turned the ball over, and it's been costed by Robert Harvey. Yep.
So umpire David Howlett comes in, bounces the ball. So So Somerville goes in, can't take it, but first kick out of that centre square. Once more, Sean Denham kicks the ball back towards the edge of the centre square. Cockatoo Collins gives it across to Fletcher's, done better on the forward line, kicks up and out comes Harvey, takes the grab. 65 metres out, he's signalling, wants to kick the ball long, now he goes short. Cockatoo Collins in front of the pack, James Hurd at the back of the pack. Oh, nearly a one-hander, could have been caught high for mine, he's given it holding the ball. So Scott Cummings has been pinged. The free kick goes back here to Wakeland, gives it across here to Nathan Burke. So he transfers the ball from the member side towards the outer side of the ground. Has 3 casual bounces, make that 4. Bang! Kicks the ball long towards the centre wing. Looking for Keogh out in front of Wanganeen. Can't take the mark. Joel Smith just swoops on the ball, gets it across here. Great play, gives it across to his young teammate in Brown, who goes short, looking for Stewie Lowe's in front. Good play by Darcy this time. Punches the ball to the ground, picked up by Ryan O'Connor. Gets it back to Ben Doolan. Make that Calthorpe, who comes out of defence. Under fierce pressure here, the Bomber defence kicked off the ground by Calthorpe. He gives away a behind under fierce pressure. And the Saints forwards working hard to maintain it inside that attacking 50. Here's slamming Sam Kekovich on Magic.
Sure, Mark Harvey's been workmanlike across, been quite lively across half forward on Anderson.
Oh, we know he can play both ends. I think Joe Masudi, I'd bring him on and throw him the half forward flank. He's been a renowned goal kicker and kicks it from a long way out, so he might give him a boost in that forward line for Essendon.
Well, scores are level on the National 9U scoreboard, so Essendon just fiddling around out of defence where Darcy this time kicks the ball long, looking for James Hurd, a long way up from centre half forward. He's on the half-back flank, takes the mark, then kicks a low trajectory kick out towards Fletcher, who takes a terrific mark on the edge of the centre square in front of Danny Frawley. What's his stats count? Because he's actually done all right up forward.
Yes, he's been moved out of the forward. 5 kicks, 1 handball and a couple of marks.
So Harvey comes out, bowls over his opponent out there in Bardsley. Chance now for the Bomber, so grabbing the ball there is Danaher, centres the ball towards Cummings, can't take it on the half volley. Picked up by Peckett, feeds the ball off here to Dean Anderson. So the former Hawke Premiership star gives the ball back. So St Kilda trying to run the ball out of defence, taken by Bardsley. Kicks a long bomb back towards the centre wing position, punched away at ground level. Coming out is Shanahan. Sprawley left it for his co-defender. Kicks the ball back to the edge of the centre square. Grenfell tries to crash his way through. Taken by Denham. Really playing well in the second term onto the left boot. Kicks a long one down. Great mark, Chris Danaher. Fantastic mark. Here's the count.
And Sean Denham, KB, is doing very well. He's going to trouble Harvey because he's very patient, hard at the ball. Has had 8 kicks for in this quarter. 4 marks and 3 handballs.
Well, Joe Mercedes warming up. They've heard Tony Shaw coming off is Ben Doolan. Peakins coming on and Dean Anderson coming off for the Saints. So a double change here by both sides as we see Danaher 45 metres out, pops it through. So the Bombers move the 4-5-29 on the National 9U scoreboard. St Kilda 3-5-23. Here's Ricky Nixon before Stephen Quartermain.
Yeah, thanks KB. Carlton going on their merry way here. They lead by 39 points. They're 7-6-48. North Melbourne 1-3-9. Matty Rendell at the Western Oval. 9 minutes into the second quarter here, Ricky. Fitzroy by 5 points. 4-5-29. Geelong 3-6-24. Here's Barry at the MCG.
Thanks, Matty. And West Coast continue to dominate here. They're 41 points in front at the 9-minute mark. 8-3-51. Melbourne 1-4-10 back to Waverley.
As Tony Shaw punches the air here in the magic box.
Danaher's been a good player. I see Bardsley's conceding a lot of inches. We'll have to look at that, Shorey.
Yeah, he's he wouldn't be 5'8", I don't think, Bardsley. So Danaher's a good goal kicker too. He got a beautiful kick.
Ball picked up by Burke, kicks the ball back to half forward for St Kilda, coming through hard as Zilla. He's tackled by Denham, who's been everywhere in this quarter. Now a chance for the Saints. Burke at half forward, sells the dummy. Now handballs to O'Brien, the former Essendon player. A rush kick on the right boot. It's not a bad snap, just offline. And through for one behind. So on the Channel 9 scoreboard, it's Essendon 4-5-29, St Kilda 3-6-24, and we've gone 9 minutes in the second quarter.
Actually, Burke caught everyone napping then, even his teammate O'Brien. He feigned the handball and obviously confused his opponent, but it also confused
the opposition.
The opposition, yeah.
I'll finish it for you, Sam. It's all right, mate.
So another short kick out by Darcy.
I'm not used to working in tandem.
He finds Mercedes in the back pocket outer side. Right in front of the big scoreboard here at Waverley. His kick's poor. It's been marked by Joel Smith, half forward line for St Kilda. So here's a chance for the Saints. Bombers just getting on top the last 5 minutes. Now the Saints have a chance back to within 50, and a very good mark there taken for St Kilda by O'Brien.
Well, redemption might be swift here, Tony.
Yeah, it was just, you've got to use the ball coming out. If you keep turning it over, you're going to get goals kicked against you. But just one point about St Kilda, I think they haven't got quality on balls that they can interchange through the midfield. And by the end of the game, I really believe that, the Harveys, Winmars and the Burks, they get tired and it's very hard to keep going as an on-baller all game.
O'Brien from 45 metres out, at a 45-degree angle. This is a better kick. It's a goal to O'Brien. So the Saints back in front here at Waverley. 4-6-30, Essendon 4-5-29. Let's go round the grounds. Ricky Nixon.
Yes, thanks, Stephen. Well, we might be looking at the red-hot premiership favourites here because Carlton are 8-6-54, North Melbourne are 1-4-10. Wayne Carey's had one handball for the whole game. Dean Rice just put through his third goal. Matty Rendell at the Western Oval.
Thanks, Ricky. And Geelong are back in front by a solitary point. 4-6-30, Fitzroy 4-5-29. He's Barry at the MCG.
Thanks, Matty. West Coast 42 points in the lead at 11-minute mark of the second quarter. 8-4. 52 to Melbourne, 1-4-10, back to Waverley.
So out of the centre square, David Sirikoski sends the Saints forward, but Grenfell backing back takes the mark across half-back. So Grenfell plays on quickly out in front of Fletcher there. Maybe got one in the back from Crawley, but at ground level picked up here by Nicky Winmar. Sizes up the situation, then just does a little short chip kick and finds Crawley on centre wing position, Members side, then kicks a raking drop punt back towards centre half forward. It was into the territory down there of Everett. Sliding under the ball was Hardwick, does well, gets it out towards Masiti, kicks the ball out wide and finds Michael Long. So a chance for the Bombers, kicks the ball in front, looking for Harvey. Nathan Burke comes across. Both players showed great courage. Mercury grabs it. Great touch. Runs to the edge of the centre square. Out in front and Danaher marks. On 50. In front of Bardsley. Certainly a lot bigger. Now pops the ball in the air. He's looking for Scott Cummings. The kick's a poor one. Drops in the arms of Daryl Wakeland. In that last line of defence. Who wants to play on quickly. Gives it across to Nicky Winmar. What's his stats count? Nicky Winmar, because he's been starring. Kicks it up. We see Nathan Burke. Well, he drops the mark for mine, but it's been paid.
Nicky's had 10 kicks, 1 handball and 4 marks at this stage, Kevin.
Very fortunate there, KB. You're right. He did drop the mark. He wasn't hindered.
No, Harvey came in, looked menacing, but actually didn't touch him. To give the ball back here to Winmar. They're under pressure now, St Kilda. He needs support, so Bardsley comes in. Winmar feeds the ball off. Bardsley with pace, runs through the centre square, kicks a long bomb. Great play, Hardwick. He's really starting to find a niche in this side. Gives it across to Wanganeen, who feeds it beautifully out wide and finds Peter Somerville. So the Bombers trying to work out of defence. Somerville balks, comes back, gets around Everett, then has to kick wildly back towards half-forward line. James Hurd makes it look easy. His hand pass is poor, then recovers well himself. Kicks the ball back towards centre half-forward. Bowled over down there was Mercury. In goes Fletcher. Crawley's in there for St Kilda, trying to come out with the ball. Good play. Looked like Masidi gives the ball across to Darcy from centre half forward. Darcy's had a long bomb at the goal. I think he's kicked it. He has. So Tim Darcy has kicked the goal. He started the game at full-back, and in fact he's ran all the way down from full-back, and he's bobbed a goal. Here's Tony Shaw and Magic.
Well, I think Stan Els will be going out there, sending the runner and say, well, Stewie, where's your man, mate? He's just kicked the goal on you. And Stewie hasn't got out of the, Stewie Lowe, that is, hasn't got out of the 50-metre circle.
Well, he nearly did the same thing to Rocket last week.
Yes, he has got that tendency. He runs all the way down, and that's great play. When your side's got the ball, well, you can afford to be a little bit liberal.
You've got to go with them, though, Sam.
Of course you've got to go with them.
A poor bounce by the umpires, taken by O'Donnell, kicks the ball back to half-forward for the Bombers. Kicked off the ground by Fletcher. It's now about 55 from goal Members side in favour of the Bombers. Masidi, a little kick off the ground, was unsuccessful. Picked up by Joel Smith. Kicks the ball back into the centre of Waverley Park. Sirikoski overruns the ball. Looks slow there. Now picked up by Long. He certainly isn't slow. He kicks the ball back to centre half-forward. Somerville's caught behind, but still takes a terrific mark. 55 from goal directly in front. Somerville looking for the lead. Cummings provides one. That's the direction he kicks the ball in. Cummings gets the ball on the first bounce but overruns it. Picked up by Shanahan. Handballs back to Winmar. Winmar under pressure. Kicks the ball to the half-back line out of side. Bardsley's there. So is Wakeland. So is Danaher. Danaher wins out, but a free kick's been given and it's going against Essendon, and it's going to be taken by Bardsley. Bardsley plays on straight away. Gives the handball to Burke. Burke back to the wing where the diving mark's taken by Brown.
Quarters, and Shorey, just quickly on Cummings, he's missed a lot of opportunities on the half volley, not getting down to them. I know the ball may have not been delivered correctly for him to mark it, but even at forward, when the ball's in front of him, he should be able to trap it at the half volley and pivot and twist and do something constructive.
Yeah, that's right, but I think the kicking's been woeful to him. Like you say, they've all been on the half volley, and he's a big man, and it's right, you do have to hit the ball hard, but gee, they've got to kick the ball a bit better too in there, Sam.
Ball picked up by Everett, kicks it back to within 50. Low punches it over his head, but at the back of the pack is Wanganeen again. Wanganeen handballs to Denham, who's really killing them for Essendon in this quarter. His kick's perfect, finds Cockatoo Collins. Runs to the members' wing, has 2 bounces. Great tackle by Harvey. Now Frawley's in there, the ball goes over the line and Cockatoo Collins is hurt.
I think he's hurt his hamstring. And Harvey...
great tackle
ran him
by
down,
Robert
gave him 10
Harvey.
metres start.
And I tell you what, he nearly got cleaned up himself, Harvey. It's just the fact that he actually went to ground. But I think Cockatoo Collins may have hurt his hamstring. He grabbed the back of his leg laying on the ground.
Yeah, he's taught his hamstring, and the doctor said he's gone. So that is a terrible blow. And nearing the finals, you know, it could be a 4-week job. So it's a big problem for Essendon. Cockatoo Collins is off, and coming on is Pryor for Essendon, and Pryor replaced Stephen Alessio in the selected Essendon side this afternoon. And Cockatoo Collins looks in a pretty bad way, and that was a terrific tackle by Harvey.
That's team lifting that, and especially from Robert Harvey. His defensive side of his game hasn't been seen as being too good over the years.
Ball back to half forward, picked up by Zilla, kicks the ball back into the goal square, but guess who? G. Wanganeen. He killed him a couple of weeks ago when Magic did the game, and he's having another great game this afternoon. He goes short to Calthorpe. Calthorpe back to the half-back line member's side. The mark's taken by Grenville. He plays on straight away, kicks the ball back into the centre square, where Darcy, who's providing plenty of run out of Bombers' defence. Umpire says play on. Winmar's tackle, but not in possession. Gee, it looked like a kick to Darcy for mine.
Yeah, I thought.
And now the kick's been reversed. It's gone against Winmar, who got the free kick, and it's going to Pryor.
Classic.
Well, it was Darcy's mark at the first place. A bad decision by the umpire, so probably evened out.
So the ball kicked back to half forward. Hurd couldn't take the mark. Coming through there is Smith. He's tackled out of possession. The umpire falls over as well. It's all happening here. Now picked up by Mercury. Handballs back to Gary O'Donnell. O'Donnell now handballs out to Masiti. Masiti to the half-forward line. Another handball to Michael Long out of side. Long runs to 50. Kicks a long drop punt to goal, but it's offline and through for one behind. So on the Channel 9 scoreboard, it's Essendon 5-6-36, leading St Kilda by a goal 4-6-30. We've gone 17 minutes as we go round the ground. Ricky Nixon and off the Sober.
Thanks, Steve. 17 minutes into the second quarter. Greg Williams has just put through his 4th goal, and Carlton lead by 46 points. 9-8-62 North Melbourne at 2-4-16. Dismal day for the Kangaroos. Matty Rendell at the Western Oval.
There's 18 minutes into the second quarter here, Ricky, and a pretty entertaining game. Geelong have just got back in front by a point. 6-6-42. Fitzroy 6-5-41. Here's Barry at the MCG.
Thanks, Matty. 18 minutes gone in the second quarter. Melbourne fighting back a little bit. They trail now by 29 points. 8-4-52 Eagles. Melbourne 3-5-23 back to Waverley.
Well, back here at Waverley, Essendon 5-6-36. Lead by one straight kick. Saints 4-6-30. And the ball into the goal square for the Bombers, and it's off hands over the line for a boundary throw-in. Let's go to the count. Paul Kelly, who's been making noise on paper.
Well, KB, I agree with Shorey. Since Mercedes come on, he's had 5 possessions and been very busy around the midfield there. But O'Donnell's had 8 kicks, 1 handball. Nicky Widmar's had 12 kicks, 2 handballs and 4 marks.
So Frawley goes up, taps to the front of the pack. Danaher gets the ball back here to Michael Pryor. Quick snap into the goal square. Big pack of players there trying to pick the ball up as Mercury bundled out of the way by Peckett. Gives it back to Denham, who's absolutely starred this quarter. He's hit the post. Tried a banana kick and he's hit the post. Hard up. It was a very tough angle. Did well to get that close. And through for just that minor score. So Essendon 5-7-37. The Saints 4-6-30. Here's the count.
And that man Denham's had 13 possessions, 4 marks, and 1 goal, 1 behind now, KB.
And Wanganeen causing Stan Alves a lot of problems. They've just brought Nugent onto the ground and put him now in the forward pocket to see maybe if someone can stop Wanganeen's drive out of defence. And we see the ball hugging the boundary line, and Somerville happy to just knock the ball over the line for a boundary throw-in on centre wing. Here's Tony Shaw.
Well, KB, if I was Stan Alves, I'd tell Nugent to go and play in the front row in the outer and just take Wanganeen with him, because he is just sensational.
That's where he is, I think.
That's where he's trying to drag him out of the play.
So Harvey picks up for St Kilda, rockets the ball out to Joel Smith. Very fine young player, kicks the ball up towards the half-forward line. Here's a chance. Wanganeen takes the ball, handballs to himself. Now the ball trickles over once more. So a boundary throw-in on the half-forward flank for St Kilda on the outer side of the ground. Here's the count.
Interestingly, Wanganeen's only had 7 possessions, but it's the quality of what he does with the ball.
Oh, they've all been attacking possession. But look at that duel now. Long v Winmar. You'd go a long way to see a better or a more skillful tussle than that.
Well, Winmar's been a star, gets the ball back out to Joel Smith. This kid is a star of the future. Goes short, This time coming out is Stewie Lowe, but Darcy does well, gets his fist to the ball. It's 45 metres out from St Kilda's goal. In goes Calthorpe, does well, then drops the ball. I reckon that was holding the ball, not paid. Chance picked up by Stewie Lowe. Quick snap and Wanganese running with the fly of the ball, takes the mark. Comes away, kicks the ball out wide, and he finds Joe Mercedes, who can really find the ball. It just keeps landing in his lap. Casual though, gets the ball back to O'Donnell. Not much flowing football now from the Bombers. That's a poor play. Mercedes gets the ball back to Pryor. Still on the half-back flank as Pryor crashes his way through and kicks the ball back. Big Somerville went up, should have taken the mark at ground level. Knocked further forward. Here's a chance. Peeking off the interchange bench for St Kilda. Takes it, gets the ball out wide. Great play by Long. Scripts it back to Harvey. Goes back towards the centre square. Looking here for Calthorpe. He's marked. He's going to be run down by Burke. Sensational tackle. Tell you what, Winmar and Burke have been sensational when it comes to tackling. Picked up by Harvey, kicks it back inside the centre square. Big pack of players. Pryor does well. Passes the ball off to Hardwick. Comes to Calthorpe. Here's a chance for the Bombers.
Calthorpe runs to 60, drop putt on goal. It's into the goal square. Cummings pushes Wakeley in the back. He's been nabbed. No. Umpire called play on it. Through for one behind. So on the Channel 9 scoreboard, Essendon 5-8-38, St Kilda 4-6-30. We've gone 21 minutes in the second quarter.
Yes, and sure, the defensive skills of Burke and Winmar and Harvey, absolutely sensational, aren't they?
Well, you know, I don't know about Robert Harvey. He's manned, he's on Denham, or Denham's on him, and he's had heaps of the ball. But Nicky Winmar, you know, Aboriginals really, they've been seen they don't have a lot of defensive flair, but that's one thing. Nicky Winmar's got both sides of his game.
Marks taken by Sirakoski for St Kilda, half-back line out of side, kicks it back to the wing. Crawley dropped the mark, but does well, recovers. Handballs to Joel Smith. He kicks the ball back to half-forward, but straight down the throat of Gavin Wanganeen again. He plays on. Handballs to Darcy. Darcy switches play to the members' side. The mark taken by Fletcher. Now Fletcher kicks the ball back to the wing position where Danaher's got 25 metres on Barsley. Now Danaher got plenty of time to steady. Kicks the ball to half forward. The kick's not all that flash, and it beats James Hurd over the line for a throw-in about 65 metres out from Essendon's goal, members' side.
Actually, Shanahan's done a terrific job on Hurd. What are his stats there?
Shanahan's only had 3 possessions, but Hurd's only had 6 at this stage too.
It had very little impact on the game.
Ball thrown back in. It's Hurd against Shanahan in the ruck. Shanahan got the knockout, picked up by Hurd. Hurd fires the ball inboard. Pretty clever play, but coming through is Joel Smith. He handballs to Frawley. Frawley handballs to Pekin, running through half-back. Now kicks the ball to half-forward and hits Everett on the chest. And O'Connor's limping as well. I hope he hasn't done a hamstring as well. I think he might have. I think O'Connor's done a hammy as well. So this is a double blow for Essendon. Cockatoo Collins is already off. And Stuart Lowe's taken the mark. 50 metres out on a slight angle for St Kilda. And Ryan O'Connor is in big trouble. He can't keep up with Everett. He looks like he's done a hammy. So problems for Essendon. And he looks in a pretty bad way, does Ryan O'Connor. As Stewie Lowe lines up the goal from 50 metres out, kicks on its way. Not a bad sort of shot at goal. It's through. So it's a goal to the Saints, and a very big goal just before the half-time break. St Kilda 5-6-36, Essendon 5-8-38, and Stewie Lowe has kicked 3 goals. We quickly go round the grounds. Ricky Nixon at Optus Oval.
Yes, thanks, Steve. Brad Pearce lining up for his second goal. And Carlton are absolutely slaughtering them still by 47 points. Carlton are 9-9-63, North Melbourne 2-4-16. Matty Rendell at the Western Oval.
Yes, we're about 26 minutes into the second quarter, Ricky, and it's Geelong by 2 points, 6-7-43, Fitzroy 6-5-41. Here's Barry at the MCG.
Thanks, Matty, and we've played 24 minutes into the second quarter, and Melbourne trail by 24 points. West Coast 8-5-53, Melbourne 4-5-29. Back to Waverley.
Ryan O'Connor has gone off with what appears to be a hamstring injury. Barry Young has replaced him. Picked up by Hurd at half-forward Preston after that centre bounce. Long's there. He's tackled. We're not in possession. Umpire calls play on it. Still at half-forward. Long's looking at the umpire saying, where's the free kick? And the umpire says, you're not getting one. So it's a ball up directly in front of Essendon's goal, about 45 metres out. And the Bombers lead the Saints by 2 points.
He's not getting one, Steve, because he had the ball when he was tackled on that occasion. Just fantastic play by Nathan Burke.
Down goes the ball. Somerville against Sirakoski. Neither really got a knockout. Picked up by Denham, but his kick smothered. Now taken by Pekin. Kicks the ball back to the members' winger. Cruel bounce beats Fletcher. Taken by Frawley. Frawley to Brown. Brown now. Well, good tackle there by Hardwick. And that forces the mistake. And the mark's taken by Darcy at half-back.
And he's got a loose player out wide. It's Joe Mercedes. Can he find the ball? Mercedes just gives the ball back here to Calthorpe. He's caught. put under tremendous pressure. O'Brien falls on the ball, maybe one in the back. Yes, he's got it. And Hardwick very unhappy about the decision. But Craig O'Brien, who's booted a great goal, that's a lovely looking kick deep into the forward line. Up goes Everett at the back of the pack. You've guessed it. G. Wanganeen picks the ball up, just puts the foot on the accelerator, comes out of defence, has 3 bounces, then kicks the ball out wide, looking for Peter Somerville. Well played, David Sirakoski. Bumps the ball away at ground level, picked up by Frawley. Quick kick back inside the forward line. Out comes Stewie Lowe. What a mark! Stewie Lowe over the top of the pack has plucked it out of the sky. Fantastic effort by Stewie Lowe. I'll tell you what, if Wanganeen wasn't down in defence, who knows what St Kilda might do.
But also KB, a great 1%er by David Sirakoski there, who's behind, got the big fist in front, came back to Frawley. Danny's fumbling a little bit at the moment, but certainly he kept his body behind the ball then.
I wonder if Nugent goes to the interchange bench, will Wanganeen go off with him or something? You've got to try something. He's just devastating up there in that back pocket.
Well, he's causing problems to Stan Elves. He's had about 4 opponents already. But Stewie Lowe lining up for his 4th goal, moves in 45 metres out. He's a dead-eye Dick today. He's popped it straight through. I reckon he'll kick 100 goals in a season if he can play every game at full forward too. Here's the count.
Stewie now, KB, has had 6 kicks, 1 handball, 5 marks and 4 goals.
So it's 6-6-42 St Kilda. That's on the National 9 News scoreboard. And Essendon 5-8-38. Here's Ricky Nixon at Optus Oval.
Yes, Carlton still lead by 47 points here late in the second quarter. They're 10-9-69. North Melbourne 3-4-22. Not much else to report, just a big thrashing. Matty Rendell at the Western Oval.
As the siren goes here, Ricky and Johnson lining up for Fitzroy to put them in front, and he has kicked it. So, no, he's missed it. Sorry, I've just done a Barry round. Geelong lead by a point, 6-7-43 to Fitzroy 6-6-42 at half-time. Over to Barry at the MCG.
Good timing, Matty, because the siren's just gone here too, and the Eagles lead by 23 points at half-time. West Coast 8-5-53, Melbourne 4-6-30, back to Waverley.
Well, Gavin Wanganeen's got another opponent because Nugent's been taken from the field and Dean Anderson now has been put in the forward pocket to curb the brilliance out of that last line of defence. So the Bombers with the ball on the half-back flank on the outer side of the ground. It's Hardwick, kicks the ball down and finds his teammate in James Hurd. Wheels around on that right boot, goes back towards centre half forward. Oh, fantastic mark by Somerville. Up over the top. Is he an improved player?
Yeah, look, he's taken over the mantle. I still think Alessio's got a big part to play in this team, but just fantastic season so far, Somerville.
Well, Alessio and Salmon both to come back in the Bombers lineup. We see Danaher there peeling for the free kick, and he's got it.
Wow. There's his head.
Don't like that one against Nathan Burke.
Nathan Burke, lucky he's got that helmet on.
He goes short. There's a chance. Hurd couldn't take it on the second grab. Pack of players at centre half for the Saints supporters are going Butcher's hook down in front of the spot. As the siren sounds, a very entertaining first half. We've got a game on our hands here at Magic. St Kilda at half. Yes, and welcome back for the start of the third term. We've got a terrific game on our hands here on Magic 693 with St Kilda leading by 4 points. So here we go for the start of this third term where umpire Shane McInerney signals to both captains and says we're ready to play ball, and he comes in the ruck. We've got David Sirakoski against Peter Somerville. Give that one to Somerville. Ball inside that centre square. Look who's running onto the ball. It's Harvey. Bang, he crashes into Mark Harvey of Essendon. So Robert Harvey and Mark Harvey, they lock horns at the start of this third term. So the Saints side kicking down towards the Wellington Road end, the Bombers towards the main scoreboard. Masiti playing on the half-forward flank, spent most of the time on the interchange bench in the first half. So Peter Somerville wins the tap. Denham's been an absolute star. Gets the ball out here towards Mark Harvey. Someone's down behind play. Prostrate on the ground.
Bardsley.
That's Bardsley. He looks like he's out cold. Young's on for Essendon. Gets the ball out here to Hurd. Gets the ball back to Mercury. Feigns the hand pass, then quick kick and kicks a goal. Great play, Mark Mercury. So Essendon first blood in the third term. They've hit the front. 6-8-44. St Kilda 6-6-42, and that's on the Billy Pies and
another St Kilda player.
Winmar, I think it is.
Here's Slamming Sam and also Tony Shaw, so another player's down.
Winmar's also down. He's hurt too.
Yeah, sensational opening seconds here of the third quarter at Waverley, but Essendon absolutely a dream start. And I notice Fletcher's back on Everett in defence, but certainly things couldn't have gone any worse for St Kilda. I thought they were terrific in the first half. But Essendon, I think something untoward may have transpired behind play. I'm just looking at the St Kilda box, and they're very animated there. And they're giving a...
And Sam, Nathan Burke's walked back to the centre. He's gone up the umpire and he's furious. It must have been something that he saw, and he's gone up. He's having to talk to the umpire now with Michael Long in the middle of the ground. But Barsley looks like that's Nicky Winmar's nose. I think it's the blood rule quarters.
Well, they're doing a reenactment here in the...
Christian Barsley copped a very nasty one.
Winmar's bleeding profusely from the nose. They're just watching the reenactment, the graphics here in the St Kilda box. They're making no bones about the fact that he might have copped one behind play.
He did.
The severe one. Anyhow.
Did you see who it was, the culprit there, quarters?
No, I didn't.
Well, Nicky Winmar's certainly got a nasty gash on his nose. He's coming off the ground also. Bardsley's being carried off, so this is a bad blow to St Kilda, losing 2 players. And we see warming up on the interchange bench is Rod Keogh and also Glenn Nugent. So they're about to come onto the ground while they're just taking Bardsley off the ground and Nicky Winmar. Let's go around the grounds. Here's Ricky Nixon.
Yeah, we've only been going about 30 seconds here, KB. No alteration to the half-time score. Carlton at 10-9-69, North Melbourne 5-5-35. Manny Rendell at the Western Oval.
Yes, thanks, Ricky. Billy Brownless lines up for goal, but misses. He's kicked 1 goal 4, and Geelong lead by 9 points, 7-9-51. Fitzroy 6-6-42. Here's Barry at the MCG.
Thanks, Matty. 4 minutes gone in this third quarter, and the Eagles still have a comfortable lead, 31 points. 8-5-53 to Melbourne, 4-8-32. Back to Waverley.
Well, Rod Keogh's come on and they've changed their mind and they've brought on Tony Brown instead of Glenn Nugent. So back in the centre of the ground, let's check the scoreboard. Billy Pies and Cake's scoreboard. St Kilda 6-6-42. Now trail the Bombers by 2 points. 6-8-44, back in the centre square. Up goes Somerville, slaps the ball down. Taken here by O'Donnell. Bang, bowled over by Burke, but gets his kick in. Oh, Joel Smith just takes a terrific one-hander, just curled it into the chest, then plays on from that half-back line. Kicks the ball out wide, looking for Wakelin. Up high, that was Shane Wakelin. At ground level, Nathan Burke, can he win control? Hard up on the boundary line. The ball trickles over for a boundary throw-in. Here's Stephen Quartermain on Magic 6-9-3.
So a controversial start to the third quarter. A couple of St Kilda players put down. Whether it's legal or illegal, we couldn't really determine because it was off the ball. But Essendon, of course, have 2 players off also as the ball's on the members' wing. Both Essendon players, O'Connor and Cockatoo Collins, tore hamstrings in that second quarter, and they both appear to be fairly nasty. They didn't run out on the ground in the third quarter, so that's a concern kicker. 2 blokes with hammies on the eve of the finals.
My word. There's no doubt about that, but relative calm being prevailing here at the moment, so it may well be that they were both accidental.
Yep. So Keogh at half forward for St Kilda kicks the ball into the pocket, looking for Lowen, finding him. Gee, he's got a great pair of hands. The supporters crying out for 50, but that certainly wasn't on the cards. And Stewie Lowe, he's about 40 metres out, decides to go short. He's kicked 4 already, and that was unselfish play, and it's a good pass. It's hit Brown on the chest. He's still about 40 metres out, but on a much better angle.
And Keck, you have to agree with KB about Stuart Lowe playing full forward all year. You know, a lot of times they're forced to push him to centre half forward when they're left down there, but he'd kick 100 goals, you'd think, easily if he was allowed to stay at full forward the whole season.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So Brown shoots a goal. It just veers away at the last minute and through for 1 behind. So on the Billy's Pies and Cakes scoreboard, it's St Kilda 6-7-43, trailing the Bombers by 1 point, 6-8-44. Bring the ball back into play for the Bombers. Here's Darcy, goes short and finds Fletcher in the back pocket. Members side. Bombers kicking to the major scoreboard end in this third quarter. Fletcher switches play to the outer side, looking for Hardwick. Hot on his heels is Robert Harvey. Good skills by Hardwick. Impressive young player. And the ball has gone over the line for a throw-in, about 70 metres out from the Saints' goal on the outer side. The Bombers by a point. They're in third spot on the ladder. St Kilda 15th. Ball thrown back in. Taken by Harvey. Gives the handball to Zilla. Zilla kicks the ball back within 50 in the forward pocket. Low against Darcy. Neither can take the mark. Good play by Darcy. Taps it to Calthorpe. He loses a handle on it and cops one, well, where it hurts a little bit. Where it hurts, and he's okay. Looks actually he might have copped it in the ribs. And
I think he's just having a look to see if it's all still there, Steve.
Anyway, the ball's thrown in, picked up by Everett. Snap at goal, just offline and through for one behind. So it's very hard to commentate at the moment. You've got to keep your eyes on quite a few places on the ground. It's St Kilda 6-8-44, Essendon 6-8-44. We've gone 6.5 minutes in the third quarter. Let's quickly go round the grounds. Ricky Nixon at Optus Oval.
Thanks, Steve. Carlton lead by 33 points as Allison goes into a goal and puts it through. So it's 27 points here. Carlton 10-9-69, North Melbourne 6-6-42. Matty Rendell at the Western Oval.
Yeah, sorry about that, Ricky, but this game's deteriorated into a comedy of errors here as Geelong lead by 10 points. 7-10-52, Fitzroy 6-6-42. Barry at the MCG.
Thanks, Matty, and we've played 8 minutes into the third quarter here, and the Demons edging their way back. They're now trailed by only 16 points. West Coast 8-6-54, Melbourne 5-8-38. Back to Waverley.
Well, the Bombers have forced the ball from that kick out up towards the half-forward line where we see Danaher gives it to Somerville. Quick kick into the forward line. Look at this. Joe Mercedes grabs the ball, sets it up, bang! Goal to the Bombers, kicked by Barry Young. Great play by Joe Mercedes. Great vision, presence of mind. So the Bombers have got the first 2 goals after half-time. They move to 7-8-50. That's on the Billy Pies and Cake scoreboard. Barry Round's favourite store. And St Kilda 6-8-44. His kicker.
Well, they're very efficient up forward, aren't they? That's the best word of describing Essendon. Hurd, when he gets the ball, they immediately run. They know where to go, and they're, as Kevin rightfully pointed out, tremendous vision, very unselfish. And they normally optimise every opportunity they get up there.
And I think the count might back this up, but Joe Mercedes had an impact on this game since he come on just before half-time.
8 possessions to stay, Shorey.
So out of the centre square, here come the Bombers, taken by Grenfell. Kicks up there into the territory. Oh, there's a free kick maybe to Danaher, caught high. He's been a good player on the forward line.
My word, he's been very, very good, along with Harvey. Hurd's been down, he's been well contained, but Danaher's stats...
10 possessions and 6 marks, slamming Sam.
St Nicholas about to come back onto the ground as Brown comes off.
So he goes short, but the kick's been marked by Crawley, who plays on, gives it across to Nathan Burke. So he kicks the ball out wide. Running with the flow of the ball is Zille, and the ball beats him over. So it's on the full. Resultant kick goes to the Bombers.
In fact, it's Jones that comes off and Winmar back on.
So Gary O'Donnell on the centre wing position goes short and finds Pryor. Started the game on the interchange.
Oh,
now,
gee whiz.
Now St Kilda supporters a bit unhappy about that. Looked like the ball could have been reversed. As Zilla goes bang and knocks down Pryor as the ball's kicked up towards the half-forward line for Essendon. It's an unusual set of circumstances. You might be able to explain it there, kicker and Tony.
Bit of evening up going on, KB.
Well, young Pryor was on his back on the ground and a couple of feet just kicked up in the wrong direction, I think, and right in front of the umpire, but he must have thought it wasn't serious enough to change the free kick around.
Well, David Howlett bounces the ball on the half-forward line for Essendon, trying to just take the ball away down there. Bang, crash. Here's a chance there. Denham, but taken by Joel Smith out to Burke. Been snaffled here by Michael Long, so he hooks it around the corner. There's a mark coming up maybe to the Bombers. No, punched away. Good play, picked up by Cummings. He's got it. It's holding the ball. Just tried to crash his way through. Good strong tackle down there by Darryl Wakeland. So the Saints are out of trouble with Wakeland taking the free kick.
Got to hold his marks, Cummings, if he wants to take the next step to hold down that position.
So Darryl Wakeland kicks the ball out wide, where Denham pounces on the ball, comes away on the left boot, but a free kick's been played and it's going to his twin brother in Shane Wakeland. So Shane Wakeland this time hugs the bounds line. Comes back inboard now towards the edge of the centre square. Big Everett goes up, and the ball has been played here to Dustin Fletcher. So Dustin Fletcher on the edge of the centre square. Started the game in defence, then went forward now, back in defence. Kicks a long bomb down towards the attacking 50. Chance there to come through is Hurd. Not having a good day. Mercury does well. Out to Mercedes. Has a long shot at goals. Joe Mercedes banged it home. Brings up the 2 Calicos. So the Bombers are on fire. 8-8-56. St Kilda 6-8-44. Here's Ricky Nixon.
Thanks, KB. And North Melbourne just edging back into the game. They're 27 points down. Carlton are 10-10-70. North Melbourne 6-7-43. Matty Rendell at the Western Oval.
Yes, Ricky, 16 points in favour of Geelong at this stage. 8-10-58. Fitzroy still stuck on 6-6-42, their half-time score. Here's Barry at the MCG.
Thanks, Matty. 12-minute mark of the third quarter here, and it's West Coast leading by 23 points. They're 9-7-61. Melbourne 5-8-38. Back to Waverley.
Critical stage of the game here, Shorey. Essendon just asserting their superiority at the minute.
Yeah, I agree, Sam. And next goal, if they get a 3-goal break, it just might be just too much for the Sailors.
Kicked off the ground by Keogh to half forward for St Kilda. Everett overruns the ball. Good effort by Keogh. Good second effort. Now picks it up, kicks it into the goal square. Might bounce through. Great goal by Rod Keogh. Great perseverance on the second effort. Picked it up and drilled a long goal. And that's the one the Saints needed. It's now 18:56, St Kilda 7:8:50. Tony Shaw, Essendon obviously come out a lot more physical, and the young St Kilda side not able to cope, but that goal certainly against the tide.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I still think they're going in hard. The one thing, and I think this is a good thing for St Kilda, is that, like the Fitzroys and St Kildas, who everybody said there's a chance they mightn't be around for long, all they need is competitive shows like they are today, that people will follow them, and that's what they want, and they've done a good job so far today.
Ball back into centre, a knockdown by Somerville. Burke, as always, on the bottom of the pack for the Saints, and the umpire will come in and ball it up. Just repeating, 2 Essendon players off with hamstring injuries, Cockatoo, Collins and O'Connor. They won't take any further part of the game, you wouldn't think. And Bardsley was carried off unconscious for St Kilda. Winmar went off with a broken nose by the looks of things, but he's back on. So quite a big attrition rate here at Waverley Park this afternoon. The ball's in Bombers' possession. It's kicked back to within 50. Cummings has had a dirty day. Couldn't hold the chest mark. Played on the board in front of him is Mercury. Good play there by Darryl Wakeman. He get now it's a handball to Peckett. Peckett now has a bounce, running to the outer wing, has 2 bounces. Now make it 3. Showing a lot of dash on the left boot. Back to within 50% Kilda. The big fly, no one can take the mark. Brown held but not in possession. Play on, says the umpire. He's tackled well by Fletcher. Still play on. Now picked up by Everett. Great tackle by Hardwick. Umpire still letting it go. Good umpiring. Good football in the end. A free kick has come out of it, and it's going to go to Essendon. Half back line out of sight. Play on, says the umpire. There's a bit happening off the ball again. Picked up by Calthorpe. Kicks it back to the outer wing. At the fall, the ball is Keogh. On the right boot. Kicks it back to half forward. Now picked up by Hardwick. He's had a pretty good game for Essendon. Handballs to Denham, who's been outstanding. Now Denham on the left boot. Kicks the ball right back in the middle of Waverley Park. The mark's taken by Hurd, who's been quiet. Shanahan's done a good job on him. Hurd now kicks the ball back to within 50, and a good lead by Danaher and a good mark. 45 out from goal on a slight angle.
His agility's really created problems there for the St Kilda defence. Of course, being so conscious of Hurd.
Danaher goes short, it's a shocker. Picked up by Winmar. He clears, kicks the ball back to the outer wing, but the mark's taken by Mark Harvey. So Mark Harvey on the outer wing for Essendon, looking for leads up forward.
And the Bombers are kicking down towards the main scoreboard. Centres the ball. Winmar goes up and takes the grab. He's fantastic today, Nicky Winmar. Nearly having his best season of league football. Kicks out wide where Stewie Lowe has been moved up the ground. Gives the ball across to the running O'Brien. Chips it in short and finds Joel Smith. So big Peter Everett at the moment is at full forward. He's got Fletcher as his opponent. He's the target. Everett from behind. Good play, Fletcher to the front of the pack. Swooped on by Wanganeen. Tries to hug the boundary line. Kicks for touch. Does it well. And the ball goes over for a boundary throw in on the half-forward flank member side. Here's Tony Shaw and Magic.
Well, KB, just as St Kilda brought that ball forward, I watched Gavin Wanganeen. He was 25 metres off his man who was in the centre corridor, and he made the decision not to go with his man. Now, you have to start using him up and kicking to his man. If you don't, he just hangs back, and just read that beautifully off the pack then.
So Hardwick takes the ball. Comments from Tony Shaw, former Collingwood Premiership captain. As we see cross half-back taken by Pekin. Stems the tide, kicks it back towards the edge of the centre square. Good play, O'Donnell crashes his way through, gives it across to Michael Long, onto the left boot, kicks deep into the forward line. Went too far for Danaher at the back of the pack. Good strong play, twisting and turning, that's holding the ball. They won't get it, the St Kilda fans.
Well, I'll tell you why that wasn't paid. Because I'm sure he thought it might have been too high around the neck.
So I thought it was a good decision. It was 6 to 1.5.
And then he thought because he didn't take the first option in getting rid of it, he paid the...
If you duck your head and you get caught high, it should be playing on, and if you hold the ball like that, it should be holding the ball.
Well, Mercury wanted the the too high decision, but he didn't get it as the ball's kicked back. Here's a free kick. It's going to Essendon. It's silly play. Being manhandled was Barry Young. He's already kicked 1 goal since he's come off the interchange bench in this term, and now he's kicking from 40 metres out on a 45-degree angle. 16 minutes played in this third term on the Billy Pies and Cake scoreboard, and we've got the Bombers leading by 1 straight kick. 8-8-56. St Kilda 7-8-50.
James Hurd's not too well either. He's got a bit of a knee problem out there.
And Danny Frawley.
So Barry Young moves in. They like it behind the goal. So up go the two Calicos. The flags are flapping and the fans are clapping here at Waverley. 9-8-62 Essendon. The Saints 7-8-50. Here's Ricky Nixon.
Thanks, KB. The momentum's starting to swing. Scott's lining up for goal. Carlton still lead by 27 points, 11-11-77. North Melbourne is 7-8-50 as Scott slams it through the middle. 21 points the difference here. We've got a game in our hands. Matty Rendell at the Western Oval.
23 points in favour of Geelong, 9-11-65 to Fitzroy, still on 6-6-42. Here's Barry at the MCG.
Thanks, Matty. The Demons within 16 points at the 17-minute mark. West Coast 9-7-61, Melbourne 6-9-45. Back to Waverley.
Back into centre. Somerville won it, but it's taken by Keogh. Shows great pace. Has a bounce. Thumps the long ball in the goal square. Everett's being held.
Yeah, good.
Got to be a free kick. It is. Umpire saw that one.
David Howlett, great umpiring.
Yep.
Against Essendon. It's going to go to Everett in the goal square.
Here's the count.
And certainly since Rod Keogh's come on, he's given a great lift out of the centre. Rod Keogh's had 5 possessions this quarter. He's had 10 kicks overall, 2 handballs and 2 marks, KB.
And count, it just shows you how damaging he can be when he kicks long. The thing that's really hindered his career is because he's had a tendency to probably do a little too much with the ball.
Great point. It stands always onto him. Don't finesse, kick it long.
Peter Everett makes no mistake. He's kicked the goal, so the Saints are fighting back at Waverley Park. On the Village Pies and Cakes scoreboard, Everett's kicked his second. The Bombers 9-8-62. St Kilda within a goal, 8-8-56.
Tony Shaw, we've seen a lot of St Kilda, and we saw them in the darker period early in the year when they were just, playing their youngsters and developing some form of game plan. But there's no doubt in my mind that in relative terms they're the most improved side of the competition.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that. I think they've got a lot of potential as such, and I think Stan L's brought them all together. That's why they've made him coach for next year.
Their skill level has improved.
Yep, their skill level has improved.
Their mental toughness.
Back in the centre, Somerville got the knockout yet again. Harvey trying to pick it up. That's Robert Harvey for St Kilda. He gets a good old hip and shoulder. Umpire calls play on, picked up by Mark Harvey. He twists and turns, kicks the ball back to within 50, and Danaher, who's had a pretty good game up forward, takes the mark, unloads the handball to Hearn, who kicks a goal. Great play by Essendon. There's the quick answer. Bombers 10-8-68. St Kilda 8-8-56, and James Hearn has kicked his second goal.
Well, Shorey, how do you combat that? Well, Count, you've got a statistic there for us?
Yes, Sam, Chris Danaher's had 8 marks. He sometimes turned the ball over, but a quick handball there to a better kick was a great thing to do.
Well, just since Christian Bardsley's gone off, the St Kilda defence has been unbalanced. We've seen Pekin on Young. Craig O'Brien's gone back to play on Masidi, which is just a mismatch in my opinion, and should be forward. And Anderson's on Danaher. That Bardsley's really left a little bit of a gap there. He wasn't playing too badly.
Yeah, so the Bombers lead by 12 points in the centre square. Kicked off the ground by Mercury. The ball ricochets back. In goes Denham. Maybe caught high. Play on, says the umpire. Big pack of players still inside that centre square. And David Howlett says, "I'll bounce." Here's the count.
And KB, Somerville is starting to dominate the centre. I think they might have to bring Everett down very soon into the centre bounces.
So David Sierakowski's played on Somerville all day. 2 of them Lockhorns. Give that one to Somerville at ground level, taken by Harvey. Can't just break clear. Kick off the ground. Wild kick off the ground by Peckett. Back to Harvey. Mesmerises them. Mesmerises the entire Essendon side inside the centre square. Then kicks back towards centre half forward. Grenfell does it well. The boy from Glenelg, but not taken by Michael Long. A rare mistake. Gives it across to Calthorpe. Look at him go like a raging bull. Bang! Crash! He just crashed head on into Keogh. He's down, and Michael Long's down as well. They've gone down like 9 pins at Waverley. Take it away. Big long kick and goal. They've kicked a goal. That's Sierakowski that was down. I made a mistake there. I just saw 13 just facing me. So Sierakowski was down not long, and they've just banged through a goal, the Bombers. Everything happening off the ball here. Players going down like 9 pins.
I think, KB.
Joe Mercedes. Here's Tony Shaw on
Looks like an IndyCar race.
Sierakowski caught one high too, and the TV screen just replayed that one.
Well, Masiti just bombed through his second goal. I saw the player prostrate on the ground. All you could see was the 13 on his back. So Bomber supporters, it's not the great Michael Long as Somerville takes it out of the centre square. Picked up here by Keogh. He's got another one out of the centre. Kicks down and out comes Everett and takes the mark. What a game we've got here on Magic 693. Here's the count.
How tough is David Sierakowski? He's been hit like that. He's bounced up straight into the bounce again. Fantastic stuff.
Well, he's as tough as nails, and Peter Everett lining up for his third goal. He'll be kicking from 45 to 50 metres out, directly in front, down towards the Wellington Road end. Comes in, this raking left foot drop punt is on its way. He's hit the post. So bad luck for St Kilda. Let's check the Billy Pies and Cake scoreboard. The Bombers 11-8-74. St Kilda 8-9-57. There's slamming Sam Kegovich before Stephen Quartermain.
Boy, gee, that was an understatement. We've got a game in our hand here. What a fantastic game. The ball just skimming from end to end with brilliant play. Talk about tough and ferocious.
Bird's got the ball at half-back for Essendon. He can't gain control. It's gone over the line for a throw-in, about 75 out from St Kilda's goal.
He's done a great job, Jamie Shanahan, on Hurd, Sam.
Yeah, brilliant. But it's certainly gone up a notch, hasn't it, the game in terms of intensity.
Shanahan got the knockdown to Burke. It kicks it back to within 50 metres. Great mark almost by Darcy. Just couldn't hold it. Kicked off the ground by Fletcher. Bombers are going to relieve the pressure here. The ball goes over the line for a throw at about 45 out from St Kilda's goal members' side.
Just one thing, I think the count said before to move Everett on the ruck. This Kelsey's going too well. I think I'd use a Shane Wakeland. A bit more mobility, maybe make some of them will pay a bit. You know you might lose the tap out, but Everett's just been too dangerous in front of goal.
Great courage shown by Wanganeen. Taps it out of the pack. Sierakowski's there for St Kilda. Gives the handball to Burke. Burke a snap at goal offline, out of bounds on the full.
Terrific play.
I think it's a good point of Tony Shaw's that probably leave that duo down there with Lowe and Everett, and maybe utilise someone else if in fact he's just starting to struggle in the jumping section of the game there at the centre bounces, and even the count's giving a nod to that.
I think they've put Everett on the ball now. Everett has gone on, and I don't know, you've got to win the game, so you've got to kick goals.
So Gary O'Donnell in the back pocket for the Bombers. Kicks the ball to the half-back line member side. Somerville in front and takes a strong chest mark. Gets here a few boos from that old occasion a few minutes ago. Kicks the ball back to the wing. Fisted away by Foley. It's a good hip and shoulder from her. This is a good tough game of footy at the moment. Keogh gives the handball to Ozzie Jones. He gives it to Joel Smith, puts him under pressure, but Smith back to Ozzie Jones. The old combination there, Smith and Jones. He kicks the ball to within 50, Low. Pushed out of the contest well by Fletcher. Now Fletcher's going to take the pressure off for Essendon. Has a couple of bounces. Runs towards the outer wing. Handball in ball to Harvey is a pretty ordinary one. Stuart Lowe is there. Going through hard as Fletcher missed his target. Now Pekin running through half forward for St Kilda. Goes short and finds Everett, who marks right on the 50-metre line. This is a good old-fashioned hard game of footy.
Big Peter Everett's had 7 marks, Stephen. Everett
kicks the ball into the corridor. The mark's taken by Burke directly in front, 45 metres out. As you see, still in the centre, Sierakowski and Somerville doing a bit of chatting and eyeballing.
Steve, there's a bit going on in the crowd down here too. They're two real factions.
So Burke, 45 out directly in front, drop punt on its way, and it's another miss for St Kilda, so they've squandered a couple of opportunities in the last couple of minutes. On the Billy's Pies and Cake scoreboard, Essendon 11-8-74, St Kilda 8-10-58.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out where the West Bank is here at the moment. There's two factions all right. But you want to make sure you're on the right side here. The Golden Heights are about to explode.
So Darcy kicks out straight up the centre of the ground, finds Fletcher, plays on quickly out wide. He's looking for Wanganeen, who reads it beautifully, takes the mark, then plays on, then chips the ball across, running with the fly of the ball as Barry Young takes a bounce. He can run all the way. He's inside 50. He can have a long shot at goal. The kick's on its way. I think he's kicked it. Fantastic play, Barry Young. He's popped it through. Great stuff. Just come off the interchange bench this quarter, and he's booted 3 goals and a great move by Sheedy. So on the Billy Pies and Cake scoreboard, the Bombers at 12-8-80, St Kilda 8-10-58. That's his second goal, in fact. Let's go around the grounds. Here's Ricky Nixon.
Thanks, KB. Sam, don't tear up your membership ticket yet, because North are within 20 points with all the momentum. Carlton are 12-11-60. Make that 83 to North Melbourne 9-9-63. Matty Rendell at the Western Oval.
Yes, thank you, Ricky. Nearing three-quarter time here. Geelong by 33 points. 11-11-77. Fitzroy 6-8-44. Here's Barry at the MCG.
Thanks, Matty. We're at the 27-minute mark of the third quarter, and the Eagles are at the 27-point leaders again. 11-7-73 to Melbourne, 6-10-46 back to Waverley.
And the quick kick out of the centre, and it's gone down, and Barry Young has got it again. Now, count, how many goals has he kicked?
KB, I've got him down for 3 kicks at this stage and 3 goals. And
in this quarter.
in this quarter. He's
Yeah,
on the
kicked
ground.
3.
He's only had 3 kicks and kicked 3 goals.
And
This is
Peakin's
4.
been on him throughout. It's just too strong for Peakin.
And fast.
I think we called James Hurd before when it was really Barry Young. So James Hurd's only got 1 goal, if I'm correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got Barry Young lining up for goal number 4.
That's that matchup though, KB. Peakin, you know, he's been really struggling and just to have him back there now, Barry Young's going to make him pay, I think.
Now he has kicked a goal. So he's kicked 4. He just punches the air. So the Bombers move to 13-8-86. St Kilda 8-10-58. We've played 27 minutes into this third term. Here's slamming Salmon. 4 goals to Barry Young goes up on the scoreboard. You can't beat the count.
Well, sorry, Count.
No, certainly Young's now had 4 kicks and 4 goals.
Well, that is 100% return. Would you love to have some players in your side? And that just speaks, it's volume for Essendon's depth. You know, when you've got the calibre of Young, you can bring in from interchange. And, of course, the efficiency of their forward line. Hearn, who's been well held, but they haven't been deterred. They've still managed to get a winning score.
Ball back in the centre, taken by Mercedes. Handballs to O'Donnell. Kicks ball back to the members' wing, looking for Michael Long. Gets an unlucky bounce, I should say. Joel Smith's harshly dealt with. Umpire calls play on Mercedes, who's been great. Gives the handball to Mark Harvey. Kicks the ball back to within 50. Looking for an Essendon mark. Danaher's there. Couldn't take it. Picked up by Barry Young. It's another kick into the goal square. Backing back. Great one-hander. Taken by Cummings. And the Bombers are on a roll now. They've out-muscled St Kilda in this quarter, and the younger St Kilda team just hasn't been able to stand up to the pressure. And the Bombers now got a chance to go further ahead.
Well, I think you just called it their quarters, the young St Kilda team. Joel Smith just learned a very big lesson when Mark Harvey ran it in. And keep your eye on the ball, son, because Mark made a beeline for him. He said, hey, this is the big time now, boy. And Joel just took his eye off the ball and made a fumble, and the turnover now is going to cost him a goal by the looks of it.
So Cummings coming in, he's kicked 1. And Daya can make it 2. The Bombers looking good here at Waverley Park on the Village Pies and Cakes scoreboard. Essendon 14-8-92. St Kilda 8-10-58. Let's go round the grounds. Ricky Nixon at Optus Oval.
Thanks, Steve. And just when it looked like North were getting back in the game, 2 very late goals to Carlton. Put them on 14-11, 95. They're 32 points in front of North Melbourne, 9-9, 63. Manny Rendell at the Western Oval.
3/4 time, Ricky here, and 33 points in favour of Geelong. 11-12, 78. Fitzroy 6-9, 45. Here's Barry at the MCG.
Thanks, Matty. 3/4 time here also, and it's the Eagles leading by 27 points. 11-7-73 to Melbourne, 6-10-46. Back
and
to
you've just
Waverley.
made Tony Shaw very, very happy, Barry, around as the ball's bounced back in the centre. Picked up by Gary O'Donnell. Puts it back to half-forward member side. Michael Long, snap over his shoulder, and Harvey's down behind the play also. He looks a little worse for wear too. And that was way off the ball. I don't know what happened there, whether it's could be a knee. I hope it's not a knee or an ankle. He doesn't look too well though, Mark Harvey. Hope it's not too serious. He's had a wretched year with injury. And he's limping a bit. Ball thrown back in. Somerville fisted straight over the line for another throw in. So Hardy gets up very gingerly. Happened a fair way off the ball.
Count Harvey and Wimmo have certainly been subdued in the last 15 minutes, along with Nathan Burke.
Well, since Nicky's had that knock, he's only had 3 touches, Sam.
Ball thrown back in, or Somerville pushes Sierakowski in the back, and the St Kilda player will get the free. Harvey's still looking pretty ginger, but he's up and running around at least, so it's a good sign for Essendon supporters.
Well, it's been a 9-goal third term so far for the Bombers.
So Sierakowski at halfback, kicks the ball back to the members' wing. The big fly there by Wakeland. That was Shane Wakeland, couldn't take the mark. Picked up by Joel Smith, back to half forward, but Gavin Wanganeen, what a champ, takes the mark in front of Aussie Jones. Wanganeen plays on, goes short to Mercury in the centre of Waverley Park. He goes to half forward, loose men everywhere for the Bombers. Grenvold's got 30 metres on his nearest opponent, has a bounce, now runs to 50. Drop punt on its way, it's going to be close, it drops in the goal square, Somerville. No, off hands, umpire said it's a point. So on the Village Pies and Cakes scoreboard, Essendon move on to 14-9-93, St Kilda 8-10-58.
Very impressive third term by the Bombers. Barry Young on the ground has booted 4 goals this quarter. Joe Mercedes has also booted 2 goals. So both those guys started on the interchange bench and they've kicked 6 goals between them in this third quarter as the ball is forced over and a boundary thrown on the half-forward line for the Bombers.
I think a key issue that's going to face a lot of the opposition coaches coming up to this final series, KB, is what do you do with Gavin Wanganeen? How do you play him? Do you bring him up the ground? Do you leave him back as deep as possible? It's just going to be a real trouble time for opposition coaches.
Comments from Tony Shaw, who's being sought after by 7 league clubs as Wanganeen just dances out of the pack, beats 3 opponents, then pops the ball out and Cummings marks 40 metres out directly in front. So Gavin Wanganeen certainly in the running for the Nomad Telecommunications mobile phone. Been superb today. Been a lot of terrific players. Denham's also been a very, very good player today. Gary O'Donnell's been absolutely superb as well. Mark McCurry has been a good player also. Count
McCurry certainly has had 12 kicks, 5 marks. But Wanganeen now 13 kicks, 5 in this quarter, 6 marks and 1 handball. Terrific stuff.
So Scott Cummings, who's booted 2 goals, is lining up directly in front from 45 metres out, kicking down towards the main scoreboard. So he comes in. Scott Cummings booted 8 goals in his opening league game. Been backwards and forwards since then, but he's popped through goal number 3. So on the Billy Pies and Cake scoreboard, it's a 10-goal quarter to the Bombers. 15-9-99. St Kilda 8-10-58. Here's Tony Shaw and slamming Sam Kekovich.
It's almost taking on whitewash proportions now, Shuri. It's unfair, isn't it? Because it has been a very, very good contest and a very enthralling one. But Essendon's slightly more proficient around the packs now. Their big guns are starting to fire, and of course many more and varied options up forward has helped enormously. Well, they're not just relying on their 12s. They've got the medium players that are very adept at both in the air and also ground level.
Well, that was a problem, see. Sunville started to dominate in the ruck. And like I said, St Kilda just haven't got the quality players to switch through midfield like Essendon had. And you do get tired. You can't run on ball all day in modern-day football.
Well, St Kilda this time gets the ball out of the centre square because it's kicked off the ground by Nathan Burke, who in fact has lifted his game since halfway through that first term, as the siren sounds when a fantastic third quarter by the Bombers. They kicked 10 goals. They moved to 15 goals, 99. They now lead by 41 points. St Kilda 8-10-58. So the lead by 41 points after trailing by 4 points at half-time there tonight as well.
And
here's
it's Collingwood night out at Moonee Valley tonight too.
Is it?
Yep.
Have you got any tips?
No, I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah, stay away from Moonee Valley if it's Collingwood night.
No, well, I'll tell you what.
I got a good tip. Be good to your mum.
We'll put out a call to Bernard Saundry out there, who is the general manager of Victorian Harness
And
Racing.
of course the chief executive's here, Tony Abate.
Down
Tony
there. Well, maybe
Abate.
Tony might have a bit of a tip for us, or Bernard Saundry can give us a tip for tonight, because we all want to pick up a little bit of spare cash. We've got the start of the big game underway on Magic 693, and we see Peter Somerville wins the tap out. Winmar sweeps onto the ball, can't take control, still inside that centre square, no decisive possession at the moment. Winmar once more, now he does well, kicks it up towards the half forward line. St Kilda need a couple of quick goals to lift the experience and also the confidence, and here's a chance taken here by Shane Wakeling. Long pot shot at goal over the head down there is Stewie Lowe, who just looks back, glares back at Shane Wakeling, and the ball trickles through for one behind. So the Bombers 15-9-99 lead by 40 points. St Kilda 8-11-59. That's on the Dan Murphy scoreboard, and that is Barry Round's favourite shot from the kick out. The Bombers just running the ball in. There's St Kilda player down. Comments from Slamming Sam. It's Stewie Lowe. He's got to hit off the ball. It's Tim Darcy. Kicks the ball up towards the half-forward line. Taken here by Fletcher. Ball goes back to McCurry. Cops one high. Must take the free kick. Any comments about what happened to Stewie Lowe?
Well, there's a big event taking place tomorrow, and it's in Las Vegas. And I'll tell you what, whichever those combatants can land one of those will evolve victorious. Well, because one landed on Stewie's chin, let me tell you.
Well, the ball's gone down where Barry Young is marked. Then he finds Joe Mercedes on 50. He's got a play on, caught by Frawley. Quick kick to the front of the goal square. Backing back, nearly taking the mark was Anderson. Ball comes back, quick snap. He's hit the post. Hit the post, the Bombers. That was a quick snap from Scotty Cummings. Now he's booted 3 goals. Now Stewie Lowe, let's get a bit of a comment. Let's have a look what's happening down there. They're bringing out the stretcher. Now he's on his fours. Now he gets to his feet, looks pretty sick and sorry as the ball was brought back into play, but it's got to be taken back. So let's go back to the other end of the ground where Justin Peckett has got the ball back in the goal square.
Well, KB, I think they've got to have a look at this rule with the stretcher. If you take the stretcher out there, I think it should be used.
Well, that's the rule that I understand it. Now, I just wonder, now the umpire's speaking to these guys, the stretcher, and they're telling him to get off the ground. Now, I believe the same as you, Tony. If the stretcher is brought out, the player must then be placed on the stretcher.
Even if he can walk and he feels all right, he should go over the line. They've got to make another change because they're holding the game up.
Well, that happened in Adelaide several weeks back with Wayne Carey when he felt he could have easily walked off the ground, but the stretcher was there and he was on the stretcher. And I agree with you, that's a rule that's got to be really cleaned up. As we see, Anderson takes the ball for St Kilda in the back pocket, transfers the play towards the outer side of the ground, looking for out there. He's got a loose man, he takes the strong mark, and it's Wakeland. This is Darryl Wakeland, half-back flank on the outer side of the ground. Danny Frawley gives himself a lead at centre half-back and takes the mark. So the skipper plays on quickly. Once more, another loose player for the Saints. Dean Anderson comes down from the back pocket, takes the ball, hugs the boundary line on the outer side of the ground, looking for big Peter Evans. Hit him right in the breadbasket, but he dropped it. Played a great game though. Gavin Wanganine's being caught high. No play on, says the umpire. Sean Denham can't take control. A chance now picked up by Nugent, the former Hawk. Quick shot at goal. He's off target. Just a minor score. So let's just check. The Dan Murphy scoreboard. The Bombers are 15-10-100. The Saints are 8-12-60. Here's Kecker.
Well, the Bombers are going on their merry way, and St Kilda desperately trying to at least pick up a bit of pride and respect in this last quarter.
They've had a lot of pride and respect today.
Oh, yes, but then again, they were decimated a 10-goal term. Doesn't look very good on the paper.
So Long's got the ball on the members' wing. He goes short, still in the wing position, finds Harvey. Harvey chips the ball to half forward to Calthorpe. Calthorpe centres the ball, looking for Young. He's caught behind. Good play by Shanahan, who's been a great player for St Kilda today. Gives a little handball to Keogh. Great tackle by Mercedes. Should be a free kick to the Bombers. Umpire says no. I'll ball it up. Great tackle by Mercedes.
Well called, Quarters. It should be rewarded, the good tackles. That's terribly frustrating for players and everyone. Yes, Shorey?
I think Kevin Sheedy be wrapped with Joe Mercedes today. Not just his offense, he's kicked a couple of goals, but, you know, defensive play like that, he's not renowned for it. He's been very good in that area today.
Denham with courage. Gives out the handball now, Mercury to O'Donnell. O'Donnell to Calthorpe. Calthorpe now kicks a long ball back to within 50. Cummings behind. Pushes St Kilda opponent straight in the back. The ball goes over the line in the forward pocket members' side for a throw-in, about 25 metres around for the Bombers' goal.
Could I ask Shorey, is Mercedes regarded as an offensive player and not too defensive?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think so by a lot of other clubs.
So the ball thrown back in. Here's a chance for Essendon. Somerville grabs it out of the ruck, has a shot at goal. Has hit the post. Under the poster. Great play by Peter Somerville, leading the AFL in hit-outs this year. And the Bombers now lead by 41 points.
I asked that question of Shorey because I spoke to Joe in the rooms last week and he felt that's the game he has to lift into the defensive side of play.
The other thing I'll make the point is that the good sides invariably, their player discipline when they haven't got the ball is superior to the lesser side. And that's where the education and discipline comes into vogue.
Brings the ball back into play members' side, but James Hurd takes the mark. Looks recovered from that minor knee injury received in the third quarter. He gives it to Long. Long kicks the ball back up to within 50. Now a chance for Danaher. Twists and turns onto the right boot. Has a pot shot at goal. Just offline and through for one behind. So Essendon 15-12, 102. St Kilda 8-12-60 on the Dan Murphy scoreboard as we go round the grounds. Ricky Nixon at Optus Oval.
Yes, North Melbourne still trying here. They've kicked the first 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. They trail by 27 points. Carlton are 15-13, 103. North Melbourne 11-10, 76. Matty Rendell at the Western Oval.
Yes, 6 straight goals in favour of Geelong at the 12-minute mark of the last quarter. 13-13, 91. Fitzroy 7-13, 55. Here's Barry at the MCG.
Thanks, Matty. Eagles have kicked 3 this quarter and they lead by 35 points at the 12-minute mark. 14-7, 91. Melbourne 7-14, 56. Back to Waverley.
Well, the Bombers in control on the Dan Murphy scoreboard, 102-60. And we see the Bombers going forward. Mercury kicks the ball out wide. Maybe a free kick to Danaher. Nathan Burke sweeps on the ball for the Saints. Caught, dragged to the ground. Great tackle by the Bombers down there. Ball spills clear. And once more we see it trickle over the line for a boundary throw. So Barry Young certainly making his presence felt. He's booted 4 goals. Great tackling.
And there's no doubt, I believe, Essendon have started to dominate this game in the second half because Peter Somerville, I think the count said it earlier, has just dominated in the ruck. I don't know what his tap-outs are, count.
He's got 26-8.
So we see James Hurd takes it, gives it across to Michael Long, and Michael Long from 35 metres home rams it home for the Bombers. So a great goal by Michael Long. That's his first for the day. So Essendon 16-12, 108. The Saints 8-12, 60. Here's slamming Sam.
It's ironical, KB, that Elves made the move. He's got Pekin now on Hurd, and he's got Shanahan on Young. So, and of course that was that critical hand pass that released Long then to have a shot on goal. And Long's had a fair impact on the game, even though he's been rather patchy, but anywhere inside 50 he looms terribly ominously, doesn't he, Shorey?
Gee, I think that's unfair on Jamie Shanahan. I'll let him play on Hurd to know that he's got it over him next time they come up again. They're not going to win the game now.
So Harvey comes out of the centre square, gives it across to Winmar's partner in crime, down where Stewie Lowe takes the mark. So Lowe's booted 4 goals, 2 in the first quarter, 2 in the second, goalless in the third. Just got a heavy knock about 5 minutes ago, but now lining up for goal number 5 from 45 metres out.
Sure, you got the likes of Lowe and Everett who've made a contribution, but you've got to get an input from out wide. Yeah, the flankers have got to contribute 2 or 3 or 4 in your pockets and your on-ballers, and they're just not getting that yield at the moment.
And your midfield has to give them enough supply to make sure you kick the goals. They haven't let them down today.
No.
So Stewie Lowe from 45 metres out, he's pulled it, and it's 1 behind. So 8-13, 61 St Kilda. The Bombers 16-12, 108. Here's Ricky Nixon at Optus Oval. Let's go back out there to Optus Oval. Ricky?
Yes, sorry, Sporting's just put through a goal. It's pretty noisy here, KB. Carlton now leads 16-13, 109 to North Melbourne, 11-10, 76. Matty Rendell at the Western Oval.
Yeah, nice excuse, Ricky. 15-minute mark of the last quarter.
Technical hitch.
Geelong 14-13, 97 by 41 points. Fitzroy 7-14, 56. Here's Barry at MCG.
Go Furness. Yes, that's 15-minute mark of the last quarter here in Melbourne. 7-14, 56. Trail West Coast 14-7, 91. Back to Waverley.
Grenvold's got the ball in the back pocket outer side for Essendon. He clears back to centre half back. No one can take the mark. Picked up by Somerville. He gives the handball off to that's Pryor there. Twists and turns, kicks the ball back into the centre of Waverley Park. Finds Smoke and Joe. He handballs to Calthorpe. Calthorpe to the running Wanganeen. Has to be close to best on ground again today. Wanganeen goes short. It's a shocking pass, but it's still a chance for the Bombers. Danaher to Mercury. Open goal. Great teamwork, Essendon. Great running from defence. 3 goals to Mercury. And on the Dan Murphy scoreboard, the Bombers go further ahead. They've been awesome in this second half. 17-12, 114. St Kilda 8-13, 61.
Count on Wanganeen statistics, but while you're looking that up, sure, there's only one way to play Wanganeen. You've got to get a player, hopefully you've got him in your midst, someone with the agility and durability to just run with him and keep the pressure and, of course, read the game and preclude him from doing what he's doing now, setting up the play and being destructive.
Well coached, Sam, but gee, it's easier said
Where do you
than done.
find those players?
Well, I know it's easier said than done.
He'd have a big S on the front of his chest, I'd say.
Ball's kicked back to half forward for the Saints. It's marked by Burke. Burke goes into the forward pocket and finds Peter Everett. So Everett's marked. He's about 40 metres from goal, but right on the boundary line. Very tough angle.
Well, he's non-preferred side too, being a left footer, Stephen.
Here's the count.
Big Peter's taken 8 marks at this stage, 12 kicks, and he actually has been moved into the ruck. But Wanganeen Sam's had 14 kicks, 2 handballs and 7 marks.
I just wonder whether Peter Everett Sam's taken that next step now. You know, the last month and a half he's been fantastic, and gee, to be great because he can play, you know, and everybody said he's been a bit disappointing.
Everett's shot on goal is offline, and it's sneaked through for 1 behind. So the Bombers are 17-12, 114. St Kilda are 8-14, 62. We've got 11 minutes in this final quarter at Waverley Park.
There's no doubt he can take the next step, you know. Being a big man, he's had 2 or 3 seasons under his belt now. He's just starting to mature.
Well, Darcy kicks the ball out and Gavin Wanganeen takes yet another mark. Been a marvellous player today. Ozzie Jones warming up for St Kilda on the bench as Wanganeen kicks the ball out wide. It's a one-on-one duel out there. Pickett was out there with Mercury, but he's got support. Mercury and Fletcher kicks the ball straight up in the air. He'll get the VC. James Hurd comes through. Well done, Harvey. I thought he was held momentarily. Now he pounces on the ball, but a free kick's already been paid. The free kick is going back to Timmy Pekin. So Pekin, the Saints, feeds the ball off, gives it across to Keogh, kicks the ball back towards the true centre-half forward position. Out comes Stewie Lowe, got his hands to the ball. Sheeran just wouldn't stick, does well at ground level. Now bundled out of the way, trying to win the ball back is Harvey. Gets it back to Masiti. Been good, Masiti. What's his stats count as he gets the ball out wide? Essendon with the run of the ball. Mercedes just comes back, gives the ball back here to Pryor. Pryor now stands his ground, cool as a cucumber, just pops it across where Barry Young marks. Centre wing position on the outer side of the ground.
KB, Mercedes had 19 possessions since he's come onto the ground. A great effort.
Well, it just seems they're not quite certain what position to play him in at the moment, because he is starting as a bench player. There's a beautiful kick by Young. It's been marked by James Hurd. 65 metres out, kicks the ball back inside 50. Up goes Winmar. Nearly took a beautiful mark, just couldn't hold on the second grab. Look at that, like an Indian rubber man, bounced up off the ground, grabbed the ball, kicked the ball back, but it's all Essendon. Pryor gives it across to Calthorpe, outside 50. He's got a long bomb. Cummings just takes it on the second grab. For a split second, I didn't think he was going to take it the second time. But Kecker, you made a good point earlier in the game. Sometimes he can take marks and he just doesn't take with that first grab. And against maybe better defences at the moment, better sides, he won't get that second opportunity.
Yeah, good point, KB. It's absolutely imperative up forward that you've got a vice-like grip, you've got to take the opportunities on the first grab. And look at this inept defence.
Darcy just gave it across to Darcy, who's rammed home a goal. So Tim Darcy's kicked 2 goals today.
Yeah.
Good play by Scotty Cummings. So the Bombers moved to 18-12, 120. St Kilda 8-14, 62. So since half-time, St Kilda's kicked 2 goals and the Bombers have kicked 13 goals. So an amazing performance. And Tim Darcy on his way back to full back. So how long has it been since...
As a coach,
How long has it been, Shorey, since we've seen a full-back kick 2 goals?
Oh, it's been a while, but as a coach, I would just pull Stuart Lowe straight off the ground and say, you might have kicked goals, mate, you might have taken some marks, but this is a different side of the game that you've got to be disciplined in, and that's just disgraceful.
So the ball's back out to the members' wing. Denham kicks it off the ground in front of him. Now he picks it up. Good skills by Sean Denham on the left boot. Still in the wing area for...
the runners out there talking to Stewie Lowe now.
The ball's in the centre of Waverley Park. Hurd picks it up, gives the handball to Michael Long. Michael Long back within 50. Great pass. Mark Harvey's taken the mark directly in front, 45 metres out.
That's a new ploy by Kevin Sheedy to have a goal-kicking full-back.
Yes, well, it's the only innovation that he hasn't come up with.
Harvey goes short and finds Michael Long, who's marked almost directly in front, about 35 metres out.
Well, they've withstood that initial thrust, I guess, the Bombers. The Saints threw everything at them, and now it's just their superior talent that's taken them to the next step.
Sure, he puts his hand in the air for 10 goals, but it's not a bad ploy by Darcy, is it? He's had 5 kicks against him, kicked 2 himself. It's only down to 3 full forward, not bad.
Well, I'm sure that added bit of versatility is going to hold him in good stead at the selection table count.
And Michael Long comes in for goal as Mark Harvey comes off and Doolan comes back on for the Bombers. And Michael Long's made no mistake. So on the Dan Murphy scoreboard, Michael Long's kicked his first goal, second goal for the afternoon. And it is 19 goals, 12, 126. St Kilda 8-14, 62. As we go back round the grounds, Ricky Nixon at Optus Oval.
Thanks, Steve. 17 minutes into the final quarter. Carlton leading 17-13, 115. North Melbourne at 12-10, 82, a 33-point margin. Matthew Rendell at the Western Oval.
Thank you, Ricky. 41 points here in favour. Geelong 14-15, 99. Fitzroy on 7-16, 58. Here's Barry at the MCG.
Thanks, Matty. We've played just on 21 minutes of the last quarter, and West Coast lead by 29 points. They've 15-7, 97. Melbourne 9-14, 68. Back to Waverley.
Cleo handballs to Burke, who kicks it into 50 metres for St Kilda, and the mark's taken by Stuart Lowe. And he'll be kicking from about 35 metres out on a slight angle, and Big Stewie's got 4.
And that was a tremendous build-up by St Kilda. There's no doubt they're capable. You know, that midfield, they got the ball out of midfield. Nathan Burke got involved. And see, players of the ilk of Burke have got that inherent ability to not panic in a crisis situation. They spot the right option, and it's spontaneous. And he spotted Lowe with great vision, and it gives him a great opportunity to convert.
And Stuart Lowe has kicked the goal. So on the Dan Murphy scoreboard, it's Essendon 19 goals, 12, 126. St Kilda at 9-14, 68, and Stuart Lowe is the major goal kicker in this game with 5, while Barry Young, sensational since he's come on, he's kicked 4 for Essendon.
Yes, in that third quarter, had a purple patch.
Well, he had 4 kicks for 4 goals, count,
One
didn't he?
stage, yeah.
Exactly, KB. So back in the centre of the ground, Peter Somerville's been a terrific player, Certainly he's in the running for the Nomad Telecommunications mobile phone for best on ground. Here's Keogh. He's got the ball out of the centre, I reckon, half a dozen times for St Kilda today, and that's a pretty big effort. Here's Winmar, been a terrific player as well. Centre wing position. Just screws the ball around the corner. That was a wonderful kick by Nicky Winmar. Finds Tony Brown. Essendon player down, goes short, and out comes Stewie Lowe and takes the mark. Well, he'll be kicking from just on 50, Stewie Lowe.
I just saw a funny thing off the ball. Well, it wasn't funny, but Joe Mercedes gave...
And, yes.
Oh, did you spot it?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
Well, tell us what happened.
Well, he just gave him a short little right on the chin.
Who to?
To Keogh.
Keogh.
Joe Mercedes, and I'll tell you what, Keogh's not backwards either.
So Lowe comes in. This is a long kick by Stewie Lowe, and he's kicked goal number 6. Tremendous kick by Stewie Lowe. So the Saints at the 17.5-minute mark of this final term. That's on the Dan Murphy scoreboard. The Bombers are 19-12, 126. St Kilda 10-14, 74. Here's the count.
Great leading by Stewie. Then he's taken 10 marks now. KB had 10 kicks and kicked 6 goals, 1 behind.
Let's go back around the grounds. Here's Ricky Nixon.
Yeah, thanks, KB. Carlton's still doing it well here. 18-13, 121 to North Melbourne, 12-11, 83. We're 20 minutes into the final quarter. Matty Rendell at the Western Oval.
Very close to full time here. 34 points in favour of Geelong. 14-15, 99. Fitzroy 8-17, 65. Barry at the MCG.
Thanks, Matty. We've played 23.5 minutes here in the last quarter. The Eagles lead by 30 points. They're 15-8, 98. Melbourne 9-14, 68. Back to Waverley.
A bit of pushing and shoving in the centre between Keogh and Mercedes. Everett's got a free kick from the centre bounce. Kicks it back to half forward. At the fall, the ball is Grenville. Kicks the ball back to the members' wing, and Mercedes going to have the last laugh because he's going to get the possession. Mercedes now kicks the ball back to half forward. And it's another good kick. Unfortunately, Danaher just couldn't take the mark. Great roping by Mercurie's caught high. Umpire says play on. Back to Danaher. Danaher handballs into no man's land. Coming through is Wakeland. Nathan Burke's also taken again by Danaher. Loses the ball now. Coming through is Wakeland. Hilbert not in possession. Still umpire says play on. Now fisted away by Zilla, but into the hands of Somerville. Somerville handballs over the top to Barry Young. He twists and turns trying to get past Shanahan. Now Young on the left boot centres the ball. Somerville the fly, and Somerville the mark. Great play by Barry Young. Somerville's marked directly in front of goal, 25-30 metres out.
Well, I don't know what your views are, Shorey, but I just think Somerville's steeled up enormously. There's a question mark on his mental constitution. I just thought he was a little bit soft early in the piece, but I reckon he's toughened up enormously and he's responded to the call very well today.
Yes, well said, Sam. I think that was a known fact in AFL circles that he did need to toughen up, and I think just having the run of the first ruck for as long as you can get just gives you that confidence, and he's had a fantastic year as he kicks the goal, I'd say.
Yes, Peter Somerville's kicked the goal on the Dan Murphy scoreboard. The Bombers 20 goals 12, 132. Essendon 10-14, 74 as we go back around the grounds.
When Carey got the free kick, and then it went up the other end.
Ricky Nixon, up the final.
I'm here. 31 points to Carlton. 18-13, 121 to North Melbourne. 13-12, 90. Matthew Rendell at the Western Oval.
Yeah, you might be there in body, but you're not there in mind, Ricky. 15-15, Geelong 105. Fitzroy 8-17, 65.
Don't leave your post, boys.
He's buried at the FCG.
Thanks, Matty, and I'm here too. The Eagles leading by 36 points. Percentage very important for the Demons now, so every score got to count. West Coast 16-8, 104. Melbourne 9-14, 68. Back to Waverley.
That is the worst round the grounds performance, Kobe, I've ever heard.
Well, Ricky Nixon, we'll blame him there. Just a very ordinary performance by Ricky. Danny Frawley's off for St Kilda. The ball's in the forward pocket. Chance now for the Saints to take the ball away. Picked up here by Sean Denham. Been superb today for the Bombers. Hooks it around the corner. Back inside the... It's hit the post. Bounced and hit the post. So, 20 goals. 13, 133 Essendon. St Kilda 10-14, 74. And I tell you what, Ricky, we're going to give you another chance. Here's Ricky Nixon at the Optus Oval.
Oh, you're making it hard out here. I can hardly hear you guys at Waverley, I tell you. I give up. Carlton lead by 31 points. They're doing it pretty easily at the 25-minute mark. 18-13, 121. North Melbourne 13-12, 90 points. Longmire's lining up for goal. Matty Rendell, see if you can do it a bit better.
Yeah, geez, you're looking for the soft options, Ricky. Geelong 15-15, 105. Still the same score. Fitzroy 8-17, 65 by 40 points. Just on full time it is here. Here's Barry at the MCG.
Yes, Matty, 27 minutes gone the last quarter here. Eagles 35 points in front. 16-8, 104. Melbourne 9-15, 69. Back to Waverley.
And Winmar brings the ball back into play after Calthorpe kicked it out on the full, but Calthorpe's got the footy again. Handballs to Denham. Denham goes short, looking for Long. Long now at 50 metres. A long drop punt on goal. No one home in the goal square, and he's put it through. Third goal to Michael Long at Waverley Park. Essendon on the Dan Murphy scoreboard. 21 goals, 13, 139. St Kilda 10, 14, 74. And the Bombers have been awesome in the second half. They've now kicked 16 goals to St Kilda's 4.
Long's been terrific. Certainly, I made the comment earlier, he's absolutely dangerous inside anywhere near or around 50. But the guy that's been terrific and really set a lot of it up is Sean Denham. His work rate has been fantastic. Count, what are his statistics, by the way, Denham's?
Yes, Sean Denham's had a great game. 15 kicks, 5 handballs, 4 marks, 1 goal, 2.
So out of the centre square, once more we see Calthorpe grabs the ball just with sheer strength, bullocks his way through, gets his kick back towards the 50-metre mark, taken away here by Justin Peckett for the Saints, onto the left boot, swings it around the corner, and marking it is Joel Smith. Got tremendous future, this young kid. Kicks the ball up where we see Everett's been held for mine. No free kick paid. Fletcher comes out, kicked off the ground here by Everett. In defence, that last line taken by James Hurd. Wonderful vision. Picks out Calthorpe. Make that Ben Dillon, who's back on the ground. Gives it across to his partner in crime. That's Calthorpe. Kicks down where Barry Young makes his first mistake. Drops the chest mark. Picked up by Shanahan. Onto the left boot. Back towards the true centre-half forward position. Down there was Zilla trying to take a one-hander. But Gavin Wanganeen picks the ball up. Just worms his way out of trouble. Goes short and finds Tim Darcy. Darcy's kicked 2 goals from full-back today. That might be a league record. Gives it across to Calthorpe. Kicks the ball down where Big Cummings comes out. And that's the sort of marking that he's got to do if he's really going to give full value to the Bombers.
Yeah, correct, KB. And by gee, Wanganeen, hasn't he been paid the highest compliment? He's got Zilla on him now, who's arguably the best tagger in the competition.
Well, the kick was meant for Chris Danaher, who just tried to tap it over his shoulder, unable to control it, and the ball goes over the line for a boundary throw in just 35 metres out from the Bombers' goal.
And KB, I think Shaw's comment about the on-balls for St Kilda running out of leagues was very valid in the game. Harvey's only had 1 possession in this quarter.
And of course, he's had a few injury problems as we see Nathan Burke gets the ball with quick hands across to Peckett, who runs out of defence. Beautiful looking drop punt. He's looking for Stewie Lowe. He's got 2 to beat in Hurd and also Fletcher at ground level. It's Grenfold. Gets the ball back here. So the Bombers through Doolan. Comes back to Fletcher. Centre wing position, member side. Signals he wants to kick the ball back towards centre half forward. Young was the target, but full marks to Nicky Winmar. Chips in and takes the mark. So on the half-back bank, he's been good today, Nicky.
Nicky's had 18 kicks, 5 handballs and 6 marks, and was injured quite severely at one stage.
And finds Robert Harvey, gives the ball across to young Aussie Jones, who kicks it deep into the forward line. Backing back there was Peter Everett. Just couldn't get those long arms to the ball. Wanganeen wins the ball, trickles along the boundary line, and a throw in 35 metres around from St Kilda's goal. 24.5 minutes played in this final term. And Essendon on the Dan Murphy scoreboard. 21 goals, 13, 139. St Kilda 10, 14, 74. And Danny Frawley back on the boundary line. Looks like he's ready to come back into play as Fletcher, who I think has really improved as the day has gone on, finds Barry Young. Kicked 4 goals in the third term. He was the catalyst for the Essendon goal avalanche. He goes short, finds Calthorpe also being good. O'Brien comes off, Frawley on, and he finds Ben Doolan, his twin brother. So Doolan works at Dimitina's restaurant in Lygon Street and does a great job too. Kicks down towards the half-forward line, picked up by Peckett, been strong in defence, across to Winmar, battled his heart out again today, and the ball this time knocked over the line for a boundary throw-in. On centre wing position between half-forward flank and wing on the Bombers forward line, member side, here's Tony Shaw.
Well, KB, you just have to think, why would they bring Danny Frawley back on at this stage of the game? He's had an injury proneness for the last 2 years, and he must be cooled down, and I just think it's a stupid ploy, really.
Picked up by Calthorpe, kicks the ball back to centre half forward for the Bombers. No one can take the mark. Now picked up by Brown for St Kilda. Handballs to Frawley, can hardly bend over and pick it up. Whistle on play. Frawley's got the free kick.
Calthorpe's stats count has been terrific.
Calthorpe's been great in this last quarter. Sam had 11 possessions.
Frawley now got the ball at half forward for St Kilda, kicks it back to within 50. And
that's why they brought him on, because he's a star.
Yeah, but even then, Quarters called it the first time the ball went to, he couldn't bend over, you know. It's just, you're really, playing with fire then. The bloke's had a lot of injuries and he's a chance of breaking down again.
So Peter Everett who's had a good game for St Kilda. He's kicked a couple of goals, taken at least 8 or 9 marks.
9 marks, Steve.
9 marks, Paul Cullery. So Everett comes in, almost from a standing start, has a ping at goals, and has kicked a point. So Essendon 21-13, 139. St Kilda 10-15, 75 as we go back round the grounds. Ricky Nixon and Dr. Soap.
Yes, thanks, Steve. 24 points of difference here. Diesel still killing them. Carlton 18-13, 121. North Melbourne 14-13, 97. Matthew Rendell, if you're still awake at the Western Oval.
I am awake, Ricky. Don't worry about that. Final score here, 41 points in favour of Geelong. 15-16, 106 to Fitzroy, 8-17, 65. Here's Barry at the MCG.
Thanks, Matty. It's all finished here too. Final scores here. West Coast 16-8, 104 to Melbourne 10-15, 75. A margin of 29 points. Back to Waverley.
Darcy's got the ball in the centre of the ground. He handballs over the top to Barry Young. Not sure what to do with it. Now handballs over the top for Gary O'Donnell. Gets a cruel bounce. Now he picks it up. Gives a little dinky handball back to Young again. He's been great. Now Young kicks the ball back to within 50. Danaher in front of Anderson. Danaher almost took the mark. Coming through is Cummings. He couldn't gain possession. Long. Another snap at goal. He's been busy in the last quarter. He's kicked 4 this quarter. 4 goals to Michael Long on the final quarter. And on the Dan Murphy scoreboard, it's Essendon. One scoreboard says 32 goals, the other says 22. Now it's back to 22 goals, 13, 145. St Kilda, 10, 15, 75. And as we said, Michael Long, 4 goals, all in this final quarter.
Well, quarters, that's the difference, isn't it? You know, they've used Long on the wing, ruck rover. Now he's been half forward for the last quarter. It just gives you the chance to have that break. I think St Kilda, they're going to be a very good side, and I don't want to harp on the fact, but they've got to use people like Joel Smith, even Justin Peckett out of the back pocket. Give them a run on the ball, just to rest blokes up. You've got Tony Brown, Austin Jones, who play a bit on the field, but normally it's up forward as a small forward, and they don't give the on-balls any rest. And if they can do that, I think they'll be a lot better side, St Kilda, and see games out a hell of a lot better.
So down goes the ball in the centre. Sierakowski got the knockout. Shark by Winmar. Now Winmar on the left boot. Back to half forward. Everett from behind almost took the mark. Hardwick goes through hard. So does Zilla. Now Fletcher for Essendon gathers at half back. Kicks the ball back out to the members' side. Still in the half back area. The mark's taken by Denon. He's off and running. Has 1 bounce. Now 2 as he runs towards the members' wing. On the left boot. Kicks the ball back close to half forward. In front as Mercury can't get the possession taken by Long. Good tackle by Peckett. Now gives it back to Mercury. Mercury to half forward to Grenville. No one near him. Grenville runs to 45. Has a long shot at goal and another backman threaded one through for the Bombers. David Grenville now has kicked the goal. And Essendon go further ahead. 23 goals, 13, 151. St Kilda 10, 15, 75. And now since half time, Essendon have kicked 18 goals to St Kilda's 4. That is amazing turnaround.
There's no doubt, Shorey, that where St Kilda are falling down, apart from an obvious deficiency in skill level, is that their ability to read the game is not as proficient. You can see when the transfer of play evolved, they're stranded in midfield as opposed to moving across and picking up the men.
Yep. They're not reading each other well once someone wins it. But also, you're probably looking here at the second favourite for the flag.
Well, there goes the siren to end the game. The Bombers in a fantastic second half. They trailed by 4.